34%. Chapter 101 Kill the Great Master in seconds. Suppress the Marquis of Jing'an. Third change. Boom. The two Taoist shadows collided in the air like lightning. The surrounding airflow was easily torn apart, forming distorted rays of light and setting off a violent gust of wind. A few bushes next to it shook, and then exploded to pieces. Zhou Qing's cold face suddenly changed drastically. An electric power that is fierce to terrifying and strong to the extreme. Crazy surges from the spear in his hand. This huge force is far beyond his imagination. The high-grade spear in his hand was broken every inch. The tiger's mouth burst open, and blood flowed horizontally. Li Yu's face was indifferent, and the blood behind her was like a sea. The blood was ups and downs, and the troll was eating it. He replaced the knife with his leg. Exerting the bleeding capital mystic demon Zanpakuto, the power is equally terrifying. Boom. One leg smashed the spear in the opponent's hand. Then, like a broken bamboo, he ruthlessly FKED Zhou Qing's chest. The strong true energy formed a defense, but it was like paper in front of him. It was easily crushed. Kacha kacha. Zhou Qing's sternum collapsed in a large area, blood spurted from his mouth and nose, and he flew backward at a faster speed than Chonglai. Boom. It hit the ground directly, cracking the ground 7 or 8 meters away, and setting off smoke and dust all over the ground. Quiet. Deathly quiet. Many trembling city defense troops on the city wall opened their mouths wide and stared at this scene in a daze. That, the one that was stepped down by Mr. Li's, may 43 inches. Really a legendary Divine Palace Great Master. But why can't even Mr. Li's leg stop him? In the carriage, Hu Jing'an was also stunned. He absolutely did not expect it. His eldest son was so unbearable. In one round, he was defeated by the opponent. But it's definitely not that his son is too weak. But the opponent is too strong. His face suddenly became serious. The person in front of me. No ordinary Divine Palace Great Master. This strength, strong, most likely, it is already a second-rank Divine Palace Great Master. Boom. He waved his hands to the sides. Suddenly the whole carriage exploded. A flying sword emerged from under his feet, lifting him up. Li Yu in the black robe, with flying hair, stared at Li Yu who fell on the ground in front of him. No wonder you have the courage to challenge this marquis. It turns out that you are very powerful. While speaking, a palm-sized green shield shining with dazzling aura flew out of his body. Whirling up and down around him. Foundation establishment returned to origin. Li Yu and Jing'an who looked at each other, thinking in their hearts. How can we defeat the opponent? Actually is not the strength of the opponent is astonishing. But the Foundation establishment cultivator can fly with the sword. But practice martial Dao, even to the Divine Palace Great Master of the Third Big Realm. Still can't fly in the air. So, even in the face of a Foundation establishment cultivator that is one big realm lower, the Divine Palace Great Master is sometimes helpless. The opponent is flying in the sky. Himself on the ground. How to spell, even if you can step on the void. But only for a few breaths. And the Foundation establishment cultivator Eugean flies, not only fast, but also always in the sky. Certainly, Divine Palace Great Master is not helpless to deal with Foundation establishment cultivator. Bow and arrow, just one of a kind. After all, the strength of the Divine Palace Great Master is astonishing. As long as there is a suitable bow and arrow, except for the cultivator on the 8th or 9th floor of the Foundation establishment. The rest of the lower-level Foundation establishment cultivators absolutely dare not fly within the bow and arrow range of the Divine Palace Great Master. That would be a living target. But this premise. It is necessary to have a suitable war bow. The moment he fought against Zhou Qing just now. He already felt the attack intensity of Zhou Qing, the Divine Palace Great Master. About 200,000 jin of strength. And intelligence. But there is no news that this is the Divine Palace Great Master. Very likely. It hasn't been a few years since this person was promoted to Divine Palace Great Master, and he should only be a Divine Palace Realm. Divine Palace Realm. Divide into 9 cycles. Every turn. They are all the condensation of the true essence in the body. After 9 cycles, the true essence in the Divine Palace Great Master will be condensed to a terrifying level. Only in this way can we hope to step into the next realm. And every turn, it will also increase the strength of the Divine Palace Great Master. One turn, the Divine Palace Great Master's attack strength is around 200,000 jin. That is to say, a bow suitable for the Divine Palace Great Master needs to withstand 20 million times. He didn't at all. Those war bows at home can't possibly threaten the Marquis of Jing'an above. I underestimated you. But I forgot to tell you. On the sky, the Marquis of Jing'an showed a cold and domineering look on his face, looking down at Li Yu. 5 years ago, in the Shaoyu Mountains, I beheaded a rank 2 Divine Palace Great Master. Boom. The voice fell. His whole body was instantly covered with cyan wind blades that were several feet long. Each wind blade is like a giant knife. These wind blades are still vibrating, and the surrounding airflow is easily cut and swung away. City wall. Li Daosu and the others looked solemn. Even if separated by hundreds of meters, they also still feel pain in their cheeks. It seems to be torn apart by those blue wind blades. Foundation establishment has 9 floors, it's really powerful. Li Deyan said softly. Even if she is already sure to match the 9th stage martial master. But facing the cultivator on the 9th floor of the Foundation establishment, he still couldn't resist. The cultivator is terrible. It can be seen. Certainly. If her cultivation base reaches the realm of 9th stage martial master, then you have to cut the 9-layer cultivator of the Foundation establishment of the same level. That's probably a matter of flipping the palm of your hand. But she knows. I still have a long way to go to reach the 9th stage martial master realm. I guess I need around Heavenly Origin 2nd stage to be able to match this Marquis of Jing'an. Li Daolong said. Several people nodded and agreed with this view. They are now already in the middle of body refining 10th stage and Heavenly Origin levels. The first ray of Taizan Natural Divine Seal True Qi is being conceived in the body. Wait for the first ray of Taizan's Natural God to be conceived. Then they will be stepping into the Heavenly Origin realm. There was no question then. Their strength will skyrocket. They also have a faint feeling about the magnitude of the skyrocketing. Cut. On the sky, Hu Jing'an's black hair danced wildly and let out a loud drink. Immediately, those dozens of huge cyan wind blades instantly moved towards Gux and below. Extremely fast. Also extremely sharp, it seems. The only thing left is to use the real dragon eye. Li Yu whispered softly. The Foundation establishment cultivator can fly with a sword. Then he will use the terrifying suppressing power of the real dragon sky eye. Pull the opponent down directly. Look at the slashing wind blade. He gently raised his hand, pointed like a knife, and flicked it lightly. Bang bang bang. Wind blades were shattered by him with a finger knife into a raging wind. This scene made Jing Anhu's eyes widen a little. This chaotic wind blade spell of mine is the top-notch spell among the top-grade Earth-level spells. Powerful. Even the Divine Palace Great Master has to dodge in a hurry, not daring to face it directly. But now what did he see? Li Yu actually shattered his wind blades directly with his finger knife. His fingers. It cannot be forged by spirit iron. Otherwise, how could it be possible to fight against spells directly with flesh and blood? It's just unbelievable. Not to mention the second turn Divine Palace Great Master, even the third turn Divine Palace Great Master is impossible. But how could he know? Everyone in the Li family has practiced the 7 external skills to the 10th level, reaching the limit of the body refining realm. And Li Yu is equivalent to the self-union of the 7 members of the Li family. It is equal to the limit of Kimin's external skin training. Kimin practice bone external kung fu to the limit. Kimin meat training to the limit. Adding all these together, how terrifying is a body covered in copper skin and iron bones? I don't believe. It's still impossible to resist the flying sword with the body. Hu Jing'an's face was icy cold, staring down. He thought about it. A brilliant blue flying sword shot out vertically and horizontally from the body, flashing. Appeared directly in front of Li Yu and slashed down fiercely. The 1-foot-long sword light is invincible, and it hasn't fallen yet. The ground under Li Yu's feet has already been torn open with an astonishing crack. Like the whole world, they will all be cut in half by this sword. Flying sword. Nice one. Li Yu has no expression on his face. He stretched out his right hand. Boom. It was just a collision, and the 1-foot-long cyan sword light shattered directly. The Marquis of Jing'an hadn't reacted yet. The flying sword had already been grasped by Li Yu, trembling like a swimming snake, but it couldn't fly away at all. Yu. Hu Jing'an's pupils contracted violently, bigger than the eyes of a needle. This time he was truly horrified. Grab the flying sword with your bare hands. What a fierce man. This physical body is simply as terrifying as a giant wild beast. Horrible. Invincible. This man is invincible. Although he still has many techniques that he has not performed. But the power of those spells will not be stronger than the flying sword that he has cultivated for decades. Flying sword was caught by the opponent with bare hands. What is the use of those spells? A wave of fear welled up in my heart. 1.3. Go back first. Wait to invite some comrades, and then come to eliminate this enemy. He glanced at his eldest son who was dying on the ground. Step on the flying sword, turn around and walk away. It's just a son, how can own life be important? He was also a little rejoiced. Fortunately, I am a foundation establishment cultivator and can fly with a sword. Even if you can't beat the opponent, you can leave directly. Practitioner reckless, so what? Did I let you go? But just then, Li Yu's voice came suddenly. Boom. The ground exploded, smoke and dust shot up into the sky, Li Yu's body jumped up. In the blink of an eye, the distance was reduced to within 30 meters. His eyes are cold. The third eye at the position between the eyebrows opened for a moment. Divine light burst out. A terrifying force of suppression immediately ruthlessly suppressed the Marquis of Jing'an. Ah, the Hu Jing'an of the Foundation establishment's return to Origin Realm was caught off guard and screamed. The whole person was suppressed by this terrifying pressure, and was severely suppressed from the air to the ground. Boom. Smoke and dust rose. Li Yu's hair was flying all over. Her eyes were like cold electricity, and she stepped off the air with 1 foot. 34%. Chapter 102 Kill the Marquis of Jing'an. Amazing Harvest. 4th More. Blue Wind Shield. On the ground, Jing'an who spat out blood, and looked at Li Yu who stepped down from the air in extreme horror. His scalp was numb to the point of splitting. The magic power all over the body explodes instantly. The green shield flying up and down around him suddenly grew bigger. Turned into the size of half a foot. Directly above the head. The blue light is brilliant, bright and dazzling. There is also a vortex-like blue gust of wind swirling crazily above, densely packed wind blades flying. Not only that, he also took out 2 cyan charms from his body and tore them open. Suddenly, the spiritual light flickered and turned into 2 layers of cyan eggshell protection, covering him. Do it all. He breathed a sigh of relief, and took out a flower basket again. There are 2 poisonous dragon darts inserted in the flower basket. There is a layer of blue light rippling on it, which looks extremely terrifying. The last 2. You forced me. He gritted his teeth and stared at Li Yu who stepped down from above, and poured magic power into the flower basket in his hand. He just waited for the moment when Li Yu was blocked by the Qingfeng shield and the wind spirit talisman. Then he shot the poison dart in his hand, poisoning the enemy in front of him at once. Let your body be tyrannical. I can't stop this from Gusho Immortal Cave. The poisonous dragon dart specially refined to kill the Divine Palace Great Master. Moo. Suddenly, an earth-shattering demon roar shook the surroundings, and the air twisted violently. Faintly, behind Li Yu, it seems that there is an extra terrifying monster that is as tall as a mountain, with its bloody mouth wide open, and roaring towards the sky. The demon's right leg overlapped with Li Yu's stepped right leg. Not down yet. All the air exploded, forming an astonishing shock wave, and 21 slammed into the vortex wind blade on the blue wind shield. The 2 rubbed against each other, and sparks shot out. Countless sparks are connected together, as if a raging flame has been ignited. In a trance, Hu Jing'an seemed to see an ox with strong horns, and a fearsome monster broke into his brain. The monster roared and roared, tearing it apart casually, as if it was going to tear his soul apart. Martial Dao really means it. How can there be such a terrifying true meaning of martial Dao? He cried out in horror. It's not that he hasn't seen the true meaning of martial Dao. But I have never seen such a terrifying true meaning of martial Dao. There are several Divine Palace Great Masters he has killed. Who doesn't have the true meaning of martial Dao? But compared with the true meaning of martial Dao in front of him, it is simply nothing. Normal martial Dao true meaning of Divine Palace Great Master. It doesn't work for a Foundation establishment 9-layer cultivator like him. But now, he felt a trace of despair. This martial Dao is really scary. Wake up, he growled. But the monster roared ferociously, tearing the sky apart. Even with the amount of mental energy on the 9th floor of his Foundation establishment, he still couldn't expel this monster in an instant. And can't drive the demon out of my mind. He can't sense the outside world, and can't control magic power. Outside world. The light of Qingfeng's shield dimmed a bit. The flower basket in his hand, which looked more and more blue, also dimmed. Even with the amount of mental energy of the 9-layer cultivator of Foundation establishment, It still can't resist the true meaning of this second level of monsters. Li Yu was expressionless, but this is also related to the fact that his demon true meaning is extremely terrifying. After all, it is also the true meaning of the second level of demons. He is 7 times stronger than the eldest son and others. Boom. One foot landed on the gleaming blue shield. Unparalleled burst of power. Immediately, this side entrusted the defense magical item that the Marquis of Jing'an hoped for the most, and he trembled directly. There were several cracks on it and it fell to the ground. Then, Li Yu's right foot stepped on the 2 layers of protection like cyan eggshells without stopping. Bang bang. The 2 layers seemed to explode in an instant. And at this time, only then did the Marquis of Jing'an wake up. He watched in horror as his defenses shattered. And 1 foot has already stepped on his chest. Click click click. Even if he has magic power surging all over his body. But it still can't stop Li Yu's terrifying power. I don't know how much the sternum broke in an instant, and the whole person vomited blood and flew out. Don't even think about it. The magic power in his body is as if he doesn't need money, all rushing towards the flower basket in his hand. The poisonous dragon dart above is shining blue, as if the next moment is about to fly out, piercing through everything. He's going all in on it. Not Li Yu died. That's why he died. Still trying to plot against me. Li Yu's eyes were like lightning, and she could see the flower basket arranged by the blue light in Jing'an Hu's hand. Don't know what it is though. But could it be that reading so many novels before time travel was for nothing? This looks like a magical item with a sinister nature. Or it was specifically aimed at someone with a strong body like him. Call. The third eye between his brows opened again for an instant. The terrifying coercion suddenly enveloped the Marquis of Jing'an Hu flew out. This kind of coercion again. Jing'an Hu was frightened, his whole body stopped involuntarily, and smashed towards the ground. And Li Yu also came in an instant with afterimages. A palm like a fan. Grab his arm directly and pull it hard. Brush. Blood spattered, and the entire arm holding the flower basket was torn off in an instant. Ah! The Marquis of Jing'an let out a scream. Li Yu was expressionless. The vertical palm is a knife. Looking at the Marquis of Jing'an who was rolling on the ground in front of him. Cut it off. The terrifying power of qi and blood is mixed with the Taizan natural divine seal true qi to form an air knife. The blood on the back was ups and downs, and the troll on the city wall had a cold face, and he was also chopped down with a single knife. No, the Marquis of Jing'an was full of fear, and looked at this scene in despair. He couldn't think of anything. Come this time. It will ruin own life. He is the cultivator of return to origin of Foundation establishment. He still has hope to be promoted to the cultivator of Qiming realm. How could it fall here? His eyes were bloodshot, and the magic power rioted all over his body, exploding recklessly. Form a magic power barrier above the head. This is the last resort for cultivator. But the air knife is like a knife cutting butter. Instantly cut this piece of magic power barrier into 2 pieces. Then there is no hindrance. Cut off from the body of Jing'an Hu. Well, I'm not reconciled. Marquis Jing'an blankly maintained his original movements. A red line started from his forehead and spread throughout his body at an extremely fast speed. One can't breathe. Bright red blood flowed out. His whole body trembled, suddenly split into 2 halves, and the ground was covered with blood. Still want to escape? Li Yu didn't look at the corpse on the ground. Instead, look directly over the corpse. Where ordinary people can't see there is a black smoke fleeing crazily. In black smoke, faintly revealing the appearance of the Marquis of Jing'an. Die to me. Li Yu snorted coldly. The air knife in his hand cut down again. Cut directly on the black smoke. Ah, Li Yu, you must die. Faintly, there seemed to be a scream, and the black smoke burst and dissipated in the air. The cultivator method is really weird. The body is dead, but the soul can still jump steeply. Li Yu whispered. If he hadn't mastered the true meaning of the demons and the 5 tigers, the mental energy would have been extraordinarily powerful. He couldn't see the black smoke at all. Maybe the soul of the Marquis of Jing'an will be allowed to escape. And in the legend, all cultivators know how to win. Not to mention a few years later, the other party will make a comeback and even bring him big trouble. So weeds must be cut by the roots. It is not enough to have the ashes scattered. Also destroy the soul. You actually killed my father. Ahem. How is it possible? My father is the cultivator of the Foundation establishment's return to origin, and he once personally killed the 2nd-rank Divine Palace Great Master. Zhou Qing, who fell to the ground and kept coughing up blood, dared not say anything. He looked at the two halves of the body. I almost wondered if I was dreaming. Such a powerful father. He will die too. Before coming, their father and son only regarded this action as a demonstration of power. It was also an action to officially put his Divine Palace Great Master on the table. With the blood of another Divine Palace Great Master. Let them know that Jing'an Mansion has an extra Divine Palace Great Master. But now, their father and son died and first stage was injured. This kind of result, they never thought about it. No one has died in life since ancient times. Go down, too, and accompany your father. Li Yu looked calm. Take it with one palm. Immediately. This Divine Palace Great Master of the Jing'an 783 Mansion, who has not yet become famous in the world, stared wide-eyed and lost all breath. Father, Li Daosu and others came. Looking at the two corpses on the ground, there was some firmness in their eyes. Next time, another enemy like this will come to your door. Absolutely can't let the old father do it again, let them do it. My father is old, and he should have cared for his life. This kind of beating and killing. How can you trouble your father? Clean up. In addition, Daoyan, Zixing, and Ziran, you follow me to Jing'an Mansion. Since the Marquis of Jing'an is dead, the wealth of the Marquis of Jing'an's mansion cannot be taken advantage of by others. Li Yu ordered. The Jing'an Mansion has been entrenched in the 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River for many years. Not counting those big and small industries, he couldn't take those with him. But just counting meat fields, medicine pills, spiritual materials, etc., it must be an amazing wealth. And there is also the true Qi martial arts of the Jing'an Hufu. These have to be moved back. After all, he wanted to go to the Jing'an Mansion in person. Isn't that what it is for? Father, I'll just go. Li Deyan said softly. No one knows if there are any old things hidden in the Jing'an Mansion. It's not safe for you to go. Li Yu shook his head. Although most likely not, but he can't risk it. There are only a few people in the family, in case 1 or 2 die. He was so distressed to death. Father, here's a storage bag. Li Daolong's voice came suddenly. He just went to touch the corpse. Storage bags. Li Yu's eyes lit up. This is a good thing. Murder and arson. Ahem, it is a must-have treasure when you go out. He reached out to take it, and mental energy poured in. Immediately, a space the size of a small house appeared in front of him. Just a glance, he saw densely packed, a lot of aura flashing in it. This is too rich. He stared blankly, his heart full of joy. 35%. Chapter 103 Cultivation Technique. Destroy the Jing'an Mansion. 5th more. Earth-level magical item. Human-level magical item. Earth-level elixirs. Elixirs spiritual mines. Various talismans. As that. Formation. Those dozen are. Jade slip. There are still a few local martial arts. Li Yu exclaimed. This storage bag is like a treasure chest. He took a closer look. 6 human-level magical items and 2 ground-level magical items. There are 26 pieces of ground-level wind spirit pills, which are the spirit pills to assist the cultivation of the Wind System Foundation Establishment High-Rank Cultivator. 3 Foundation Establishment pills. These are extremely precious, the panacea that can make the Qi refining stage cultivator break his head. There are more than 30 copies of various 100-year and 1000-year elixirs. There are 21 kinds of spiritual minerals with a faint spiritual light, which weigh several thousand catties. There are still 2 earth-level talismans. A set of formations that don't know what they do. 15 jade slips that record various spells. At the same time, one of the jade slips also recorded a set of cultivation technique, Blue Wind Ju. This is the cultivation technique of heavenly rank low rank, enough to cultivate to the 3rd big realm of immortal Tao. Enlightenment realm. In an inconspicuous position in the corner, there are 4 local top-rank true Qi martial arts. Is that a spirit coin? Sudden, he saw another corner. There are hundreds of coins scattered with faint light and mysterious patterns printed on them, which look like copper coins. Although never seen, but Li Yu felt a strong spirit power from it. And with this shape, he can naturally guess that this must be the spirit coin that can only be circulated at the Divine Palace Great Master level. I heard, 1 spirit coin can be exchanged for millions of taels of silver. There are a total of 105 spirit coins here, isn't it worth more than 100 million taels of silver? Li Yu was surprised, as expected of the Marquis of Jing'an. This wealth is terrifying, casually, with more than 100 million taels of silver on him. And if you count other elixir, spiritual mine, magical item, jade slip, martial arts, formation, talisman. And this storage bag, it's worth a lot. Sure enough, horses don't get fat without nightgrass, and people don't get rich without windfall. This storage bag directly transformed my Lee family from a poor practitioner to a rich family. His face was full of joy. It all adds up. It is estimated to be worth 2 or 3 billion silver. Especially the cultivation technique, which is absolutely amazing value. Put it on the trade interface. Those time travelers, too many people want it. Although the qualification of spiritual roots is indeed very rare after his understanding. Back then, those disciples of the Yin Sha sect. It has been accumulated by Yin Shizong for decades. But this can't hold back too many traversers. Billions. Someone is always lucky, and someone in the family has spiritual roots. And with spiritual roots, then you can enter the sect of cultivating immortals. But just entered, the cultivation technique of cultivation must be the lowest. At this time, if there is a heavenly rank cultivation technique to practice, it will definitely rise faster. Of course, some sects of cultivating immortals are not allowed to practice other cultivation techniques. But there must be many sects of cultivating immortals who have no taboos. And there are 4 high-level martial arts. If you don't get heavenly rank martial arts, you can directly observe the Tai Zan Tian Shengshenzhang and deduce the cultivation method of heavenly origin second stage. He has a decision in his mind. Looking at his eldest son Li Daosu, he ordered. You can spread the word about it. Let's say that the Marquis of Jing'an intended to rebel, but my Li family found out, and killed him in order to bring order for the imperial court. Li Daosu nodded. Father, don't worry. The Marquis of Jing'an intended to rebel, but he was beheaded and killed outside the city by the old man of the Li family. People don't need to panic. The Marquis of Jing'an intended to rebel, but he was beheaded and killed outside the city by the old man of the Li family. People don't have to be afraid of lying. In Beiyin County, a famous catcher still had shock in his eyes, beating gongs and drums, and excitedly preached in the city. They can't help being excited. Speaking up, although they are still wearing the identity of a police officer. But in fact, who is the host and who is getting the money, everyone is very clear. Now, not only did I know that the old man of the Li family is a divine palace great master. What's more, it was so terrifying that he directly killed Jing'anhu, a giant in the 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River. Such strength. It is simply a trend to replace the Jing'anhu mansion and become another behemoth in the 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River. The Li family became a behemoth in the south of the Yangtze River. They are ordinary practitioners who beg for food under the Li family. There are definitely benefits to be had. Therefore, who isn't excited? Who is not excited? What? Master Li beheaded the Marquis of Jing'an, the head of the Fuwei Escort Bureau, who was about to take his family out of the city to take refuge, stayed where he was, his mind roaring. His first reaction: that's fake news. He traveled far and wide. How could it be possible not to know the terror of the Marquis of Jing'an? That is the existence that once killed the Divine Palace Great Master of the enemy country. Throughout the 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River, the status is comparable to that of Longxiang Temple, Baiyu Temple, Qingtianmen and other top sects. So he thought before, home. But now, the Li family is not over, but the Marquis of Jing'an is over. He wondered if he was dreaming. Otherwise, how could I have heard such incredible news? Not just him. Many big families in the city were dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. The Marquis of Jing'an has suppressed Jiangnan for more than 10 years and has a great reputation. He is one of the top figures in Jiangnan. How could it suddenly fall outside their Beiyin County? It's so dreamy. It's incredible. At the same time, they also felt a deep respect for the Li family in their hearts. You can kill the Marquis of Jing'an. What a horror, what a monstrous experience. Nan'an County, Jing'anhu Mansion. The 3rd son of the Marquis of Jing'an, Zhou Song, stood on the 3rd floor attic with his hands behind his back. The wind blows, and the sleeves flutter. He looked down at the scenery of Nan'an County, the pedestrians on the street, the peddlers and pawns. A kind of peace in my heart. It was the peace of seeing too much. It is also a kind of peace that is high above and has separated itself from the common world. This prosperous world, this beautiful mountain and river. My Zhou family also has one. He whispered softly. They are 3 brothers. Dage devotes himself to cultivation and is already the great master of the Divine Palace. The 2nd elder brother failed, was sent to a remote place, and died. And he is responsible for controlling the connections, business, and army of the Hu mansion. He is already the next patriarch. And he also knew his father's ambition. Now the world is in chaos. Naturally, their Jing'an Marquis mansion also wants to take part and win a piece of beautiful mountains and rivers. Even do well in the future. It is not impossible to bring the whole country of Yan into the rule of their Zhou family. I don't know when my father will be promoted to Qiming. If my father becomes a Qiming cultivator, my Jing'an Hu mansion will truly have the strength to compete for world hegemony. Zhou Song looked forward to it. He is looking forward to the day when his father will be promoted to Qiming. Qiming cultivator. This is much stronger than the Divine Palace Great Master. Put it in the country of Yan. Those are the top existences. Moreover, Qiming cultivator's lifespan is nearly 200 years, which is enough to make his Zhou family prosperous for another 100 years. Calculate the time. Father and elder brother should also be coming back. This time the father and elder brother took action and once again suppressed and killed a Divine Palace Great Master. The news that my brother has become the Great Master of the Divine Palace can also be spread. The prestige of my Jing'an Hu mansion will definitely increase greatly. A satisfied smile appeared on his face. And when the father is going further, then it is no worse than Longxiang Temple, Baiyu Temple, Qingtianmen and other top forces that have been passed down for hundreds of years. Boom. At this time, a loud noise came, which startled him. He turned around and looked in the direction of the mansion gate, frowning. What happened? He felt something like the sound of something collapsing and falling to the ground. Didn't think much about it. He jumped up directly and headed towards the gate of the mansion. Although he is not as qualified as Zhou Qingqiang, but also a 7th stage martial master. Could it be that there are some people who dare to come to the Marquis mansion to act wildly? He thought it was a little funny. How can this be? Even the Dragon Elephant Temple, Baiyu Temple, and Qingtian Gate now need to add a Dianxiang religion. I dare not let people go wild in their Jing'an Hu mansion. The gate of Jing'an Marquis mansion. Li Yu stood with her hands behind her back, expressionless. And ahead, Li Ziran put away his fist. His face was full of excitement. It was he who punched out, smashing the gate of Jing'an Hu mansion into pieces, and there was a loud noise. The loud noise not only shook the Jing'an Hu mansion. It also shocked many dignitaries nearby. Those who can live near Jing'an Hu's mansion. Naturally, there is no simple person. At this time, many people jumped up and stood on the roof. But looking at the situation here, they all opened their mouths and looked dull. What's the situation? How dare someone go to the Jing'an Marquis mansion to make trouble? And they even smashed the gates of the Jing'an Hu mansion. Everyone who saw this scene, no matter who they were, felt their scalps go numb. As the saying goes, you don't hit someone in the face. And the gate of Jing'an Marquis mansion. That is the face of the Jing'an Hu mansion. They stared at Li Yu and the others. No matter who these 4 people are. It's all dead. Even if the king gives an order, it will never be saved. Li Chenjiao. After slapping the Jing'an mansion in the face, do you still want to live? Not even the Divine Palace Great Master can survive. How dare. Damn it. You are courting death. If you dare to come to Jing'an Hu's mansion to make trouble, I will make it impossible for you to survive or die. Catch them. Inside Jing'an Hu mansion, many middle and high-level people have already rushed out. Seeing the shattered gate, they were suddenly furious. As if flames were about to burst out of their eyes, they stared at Li Yu and the others, roaring. At the same time, they themselves rushed towards Li Yu and the others. One after another martial master's breath gushes out, and the vitality bursts forth. Just in the blink of an eye, a dozen martial masters came out, and there were even several of them. They are all martial masters above the 4th stage, with true chi condensing form behind them, and phantoms of various strange beasts flying across the sky. The momentum is amazing. No 9th stage martial master. Come to 9th stage martial master. Li Ziran's eyes are shining, and his black hair is flying. Although the grade is still young, a terrifying aura emanates from him. Just like the cub of an ancient ferocious beast, extremely terrifying. Boom. He stretched out his hands and punched like a mountain. The whole person turned into an afterimage. Bang bang bang. A dozen or so martial masters rushed over, all of them collapsed in an instant, vomiting blood and flying backwards. This scene, everyone around fell silent, stunned. 35%. Chapter 104 Powerful Demon Fist. Qiming Cultivator. First update. Call. Afterimages all over the ground slowly dissipated. Li Ziran still stood where he was, as if he had never moved. He had just turned 17 not long ago. Dressed in a white robe, he looks heroic. There was a look of disappointment on the slightly younger face. Is this the martial master of the marquis mansion of Jing'an at this level? At this time, more than a dozen martial masters fell to the ground, blood dripping, and they were breathless. Obviously just at that moment. These dozen or so martial masters were all beaten to death by him. Far and near, everyone was shocked, with expressions of horror and disbelief in their eyes. Li Ziran is too young. The childishness of that face has not yet taken off. Such a little boy actually met and killed more than a dozen martial masters. Among them are several martial masters above 4th stage. This is simply unbelievable. Gulu. Uncle Nanning swallowed, feeling his scalp go numb. Is this boy 18 years old? How could it be so scary? Even the most outstanding disciples of Longxiang Temple, Baiyu Temple, and Qingtianmen. It is impossible to have such terrifying strength at this age. He knew a martial master who was killed. That is a 5th stage martial master. But he was beaten to death by this boy. Not only him. But there is no one among the dignitaries nearby who doesn't feel their scalps go numb. In their family, 17 or 18-year-old boy, what cultivation base? All in the body refining realm. Anyone who can reach body refining 5th, 6th stage is a genius. But the opponent has already killed the martial master of the 4th, 5th stage with one punch. This gap is huge. Make them feel dreamy. Court death. Break the gate of my Jing'an marquis mansion, and dare to kill my marquis mansion martial master. Heaven and earth, whoever comes will not be able to save you. Kill. Inside Jing'an Hu mansion, several real high-level people appeared. Although Li Ziran was so young, he was shocked to kill more than a dozen martial masters at 130. But who are they? He is a member of the Jing'an marquis mansion. When did someone actually dare to attack the Hu mansion? No matter who the other party is. A tooth for a tooth, an eye for an eye. Kill people, then use the other party's blood to wash away. Boom. 2 7th stage martial masters roared, one tall and tall, the other tall and thin. They are all members of the Zhou family. Behind True Qi condensed, a phantom of a flying tiger emerged, roaring like thunder. What he practiced was the martial arts, flying tiger picture, handed down by the Zhou family. It is a ground-level top-grade True Qi martial arts. The momentum of the two was astonishing, one left and one right, like flying tigers volleying in the air, they rushed towards Li Ziran fiercely. The bricks and stones on the ground exploded, and the smoke and dust rushed up. Speak of 9th stage martial master. Are you going to die? Li Ziran's black hair is thick and double. The breath of the whole person became dense and erratic. He moved, as if at this moment. He turned into a monster from ancient times, his aura was as violent as a volcano erupting. Bang! The ground seemed to shake. Blast out with one punch, like a demon. Boom! The burly martial master on the left broke his arm, shattered his sternum, and flew out. Li Ziran was expressionless. The body appeared in front of the other martial master in an instant. Punch out like a sky crash. Boom! The martial master only had time to shield his face with his hands. Then he felt a fierce and terrifying force coming, shattering his arm and hitting his chest. Click, click, click. The sound of bone cracking was ear-piercing. He flew upside down, his mouth full of blood. It actually improved the Great Bull Demon Fist. Li Yu looked at Li Ziran in surprise. Not much of an improvement though. It's just that the artistic conception that took the true meaning of the demon has been completely integrated into the Great Bull Demon Fist. Turned this fist technique into CBFA, Strong Demon Fist. In fact, as long as time goes by, someone in the family will always do it. But he didn't expect. The first to do it was Li Ziran, the third grandson. The original vigorous bull demon fist was only a high-grade human-level fist technique. But now, turning into a powerful demon fist, but jumping up, it is definitely a top-level fighting martial arts. More importantly, even if the level of fist technique is improved. But Li Ziran's control over fist technique has not changed at all. Still superb. This is the highest level of combat martial arts. Any martial art in the world can only be called a universe if it can be cultivated to great completion. And if one can cultivate to return to origin, then one is already a genius among geniuses, and can be called the pride of heaven. As for perfection, too little. Even the Divine Palace Great Master, it is difficult to practice a human-level martial art to perfection. It's amazing, it's already beyond the limit of martial arts. Even the person who created this martial art is inferior. Not to mention Earth-level upper-grade martial arts. Counting the entire Yan Kingdom, you may not be able to find one. Who are you? Why did you come to my Jing'an mansion to make trouble? Both 7th stage martial masters were instantly defeated. Not to mention that the dignitaries around were terrified. Even the senior officials of the Jing'an mansion were terrified. At this time, Zhou Song had already arrived. He stared at Li Ziran and questioned him loudly. The voice is angry, the eyes are cold, full of killing intent. At the same time, he also looked at Li Yu, Li Daoyan, and Li Zixing's grandfather and grandson with extreme vigilance. Listen, Li family in Beiyin County, Ziran. Your mansion of the Marquis of Jing'an intends to rebel. The Marquis of Jing'an has already been executed outside Beiyin County. Why don't your mansion of the Marquis of Jing'an immediately arrest you? If you resist from the corner, you will all die. Li Ziran recalled the words his grandfather taught him on the way, took a step forward, and said coldly. His voice is great. Not only did it spread throughout the entire Jing'an mansion, it spread throughout the 5 or 6 mile radius. Immediately, everyone was stunned. Their minds were buzzing, wondering if there was something wrong with their ears. What did they hear? Is the Marquis of Jing'an dead? This is simply impossible. Jing'an is the terrifying cultivator of the Foundation establishment's great return to origin. 15 years ago, I personally beheaded 2 Divine Palace Great Masters. The strength is earth-shattering, standing at the top of Zhongnan Wangzhou Kanki. How could it be possible to die suddenly? You. What did you say? You say my father is dead. What are you kidding? Zhou Song's heart skipped a beat, his complexion turned pale, and he let out an angry roar. He already had some confidence in his heart. After all, the other party said they were from the Li family in Beiyin County. And it was the Li family in Beiyin County that my father and elder brother were looking for. This news, except for the upper echelons of the clan, no one knows. The other party not only knew about it, but also dared to kill him. That speaks for itself. But he couldn't believe it. I don't want to believe it either. The father is so powerful, and the elder brother of the Divine Palace Great Master is beside him. How could he die in Beiyin County? The Jing'an mansion still has a steady stream of people gathering. But at this time you look at me, I look at you, many people are shocked. Looking at the pale face of the senior executives, they all felt a chill rising from the soles of their feet. Could it be possible? Lord, who really? No one dared to think about it. That is the abyss. A bottomless abyss. Call out. Suddenly, a sharp arrow with a terrifying killing intent was shot directly from Li Zixing's hand. The arrow was blood-colored, and it shot Zhou Song, who was in a state of anxiety, flying, blood spattering. Jing'an Marquis Mansion. Except for the Zhou family members, those who kneel and surrender will not be killed. Li Zixing gave a cold drink. The war bow in my hand was drawn into a full moon, and a sharp arrow pierced through it. And at the same time, Li Ziran also turned into lightning and charged into the Jing'an mansion. Whether it's a martial master or a soldier, you will fly if you touch them, and you will die if you touch them. You are courting death. A middle-aged man in battle armor roared out. The momentum of 9th stage martial master surged violently, the surrounding air twisted, and the airflow set off a strong wind. He was holding a big knife, and a flying tiger was entrenched behind him, as if he wanted to cut through the mountain with one knife. The wolf cut it off towards Li Zi. Boom! The air swept through and made a loud noise. Ha ha ha! Well done! Li Ziran's eyes brightened. 9th stage martial master. For a moment, his black hair turned to silver. There are countless lines on the skin on the body, shining with a faint silver light. The inverted triangular eyes are cold and ruthless. A wave of coercion suppressed and distorted all directions. Let the 9th stage martial master cut down the speed of the big knife a lot. Bloodline family. The middle-aged general's pupils shrank suddenly, and he said in horror. At the same time, his body also felt the pressure of suppression, his speed slowed down, and the true qi in his body stagnated for several minutes. A body of strength, at least 10% weakened. Li Ziran's eyes were bright. He punched out, the blood on his back exploded completely, the monsters condensed, tearing the sky apart. Boom, 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 boom. Just in the blink of an eye, the two fought for more than a dozen rounds, and the walls of the courtyard were blown down by the aftermath of the fight. Puff! The middle-aged general spat out a mouthful of blood. He was extremely shocked. Too strong. The opponent is so young, how could he be so strong? That fist technique seems to be able to crack everything. Press him down completely. Not even a few rounds. He felt that he would be beaten to death. Escape. Keep the green hills, don't worry about no firewood. It doesn't matter if Lord Hu is alive or dead. It is the right choice to run away at this moment. Think here. He resisted Li Ziran's punch, and spat out another mouthful of blood. The whole person turned into a black shadow and fled towards the distance. But the next moment, his eyes flashed. A woman with silver white hair, silver white skin, a peaceful face, and cold eyes appeared in front of her. A big knife that looks like it came from the underworld. At a speed that he couldn't see clearly, it passed directly across his neck. Hot blood rushed up. A bewildered head flew out. Boom, 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 boom. Li Deyan saw the headless corpse on the ground. The whole person turned into an afterimage. The big knife in his hand was terrifying and boundless, beheading a strong man named Jing'an Hu Mansion with a single blow. Even if 2 ninth stage martial masters rush out again. But she was still instantly killed by her. Great Completion Realm's blood capital Mystic Demon Zanpakuto is really terrifying. Li Yu was amazed. He ignored the fight in front of him. Look to the street on the left. There are no pedestrians there. But there was a figure in a black robe approaching from afar. The black robe is gorgeous, with dark gold patterns inlaid on the edge. Around the visitor, there was an incense burner flying up and down, flashing amazing aura. A pair of eyes, looking at Li Yu with interest. Terrifying magic power fluctuations undisguisedly surged from this person. There is also a powerful and unpredictable mental energy emerging, interfering with reality, and making people hallucinate frequently. Light incense to teach. Kiming cultivator. Li Yu turned to face this person, I Lyko. 35%. Chapter 105. The whole family is promoted to martial master. The strength has skyrocketed. Second more. Kiming realm's cultivator. It is the third largest realm of Shandao. It belongs to the same level as the Divine Palace Great Master of Martial Dao's third largest realm. But, the Kiming cultivator's strength is much stronger than the Divine Palace Great Master. Jing'an Hu, a Foundation Establishment Master returned to origin, said that he once beheaded the second-ranked Divine Palace Great Master. It can be seen from this. How terrifying would it be to be an enlightened cultivator of a large realm? Certainly, Jing'an Hu is not the usual Foundation Establishment Daewon, full. As the Marquis of Jing'an, he has enough resources in his hands. And it was the Foundation Establishment returned to origin 15 years ago, and it has been accumulated for many years, so it is so powerful. Li Yu already knew. The strength of the cultivator, of course, is the realm. For a cultivator, accumulation is also the same as universal development. This is mainly reflected in magic power, magical item, talisman, formation and so on. The Marquis of Jing'an has almost reached a very high level in these aspects. That's why I was able to return to Origin Realm with Foundation Establishment, beheading the second-ranked Divine Palace Great Master. The stronger Foundation Establishment returned to Origin. Certainly not as good as Kiming Cultivator. Dianxiangjiao, Situ Busan. The figure in black robe smiled, nodded to Li Yu and said. Unexpectedly, there is a Divine Palace Great Master in Qinzhou. Besides, the outstanding generation of the Marquis of Jing'an does not want to die in the hands of your excellency. His voice is nice and peaceful, and anyone who hears it seems to feel a kind of kindness from it. As well as a trace of compassion. It seems that this is a great kind person walking in the world. Whenever anyone needs help, they will help. Situ Busan. The leader of the incense sect. Li Yu's eyes moved, and she looked at the middle-aged Taoist with a thin face. Although the other party did not wear Taoist robes. But he was holding a duster in his hand. The head is also dressed as a Taoist. He really didn't expect it. In the city of Nan'an County, you will meet this mysterious and unpredictable leader of the incense sect. Dianxiang cult has existed in Yan State for a long time. It was suppressed by Yan State. But among the people, there is also a strong belief foundation. Able to rise. It is related to the development of Dianxiangjiao for many years. But it is also related to the leader of the Dianxiang sect in front of him. The leader has 36 disciples, all of whom are Foundation Establishment cultivators. There are also 3 sworn brothers, all of whom are worshipped by gods. These powerhouses are the main factors for the Dianxiang religion to sweep across the south of the Yangtze River like a prairie fire. It's the poor way. Situ Busan glanced at the Jing'an Marquis mansion where the blood flowed like a river, and said softly. I don't know, Brother Li, can you show me some face and let me take away the rest of the Jing'an Hu mansion? Although he was standing on the long street. But in fact, except for Li Yu, no one can see him. After the enlightened cultivator's soul has been baptized, the amount of mental energy is terrifying and can interfere with reality. He doesn't want you to see it, so you can't see it. Even if it is close at hand. To be honest, for Li Yu, she spotted him at a glance from a long distance away. Situ Busan was still a little surprised. This ancestor of the Li family has such a strong amount of mental energy. To know, ordinary Divine Palace Great Master. He almost had to walk within 10 meters to find him. Even if it turns into Divine Palace Great Master 2 times. You have to be within 30 meters to find him. But just now he was still 50 or 60 meters away. Was discovered by the other party unexpectedly. This strength is quite terrifying in the entire Yan Kingdom. No, Li Yu shook his head. Cutting the grass does not remove the roots, and the spring breeze blows and regenerates. How could he leave a group of people in the Jing'an mansion behind? Although the strength is not very good. But sometimes. Bad things do not depend on strength. Before traveling, he reads novels and watches TV. The most annoying thing is that a small role is not handled cleanly, causing all kinds of troubles. The leader of the Dianxiang sect in front of him is Qiming Cultivator, powerful. But is it easy for him? Pissed him off. How about Qiming Cultivator with full combat power? Pity. Situ Busan shook his head. Glancing at Li Daoyan, who was covered in silver and had cold silver hair, there was a hint of thought in their eyes. Then he smiled and nodded to Li Yu. There will be a period later. There is no meaning of entanglement at all. The whole person turned around and turned into a ray of light that soared into the sky and disappeared without a trace. This ability to fly. Li Yu squinted her eyes. With his eyesight, he can naturally see the opponent's speed clearly. Much faster than the Marquis of Jing'an. Even if he has the self-confidence and strength to surpass the opponent. But if you don't suppress the opponent with the real dragon and sky eyes at the first time, it will be very difficult to keep the other party. After all, he can't fly. This is Martial Dao's flaw. At the same time, he was also a little surprised by the other party's such a straightforward move. It seems, this one just happened to be at the right time. Everyone in the Jing'an mansion doesn't really care if they can be taken away. He whispered to himself. Half a day later, the corpses of the Jing'an mansion were lying on the ground, and the blood flowed like a river. Li Daoyan dragged a big knife and split the last member of the Zhou family who was struggling to resist in two. So far, the Zhou family in Jing'an mansion could no longer resist. She looked at a large number of servants and guards of Jing'an Hufu who were kneeling on the ground tremblingly, and said lightly. The members of the Zhou family will be exterminated. If you can bring back the head of every member of the Zhou family, you will be rewarded with 100 taels to 10,000 taels of silver according to your strength. The Zhou family has been passed down for more than 200 years. The people of the tribe spread out, and they are no longer limited to this mansion. A few of them want to kill them all, but they can't do it. Then you can't do it yourself. Naturally, let others do it. Money can turn ghosts around. Of course, being rich can also make people exterminate the Zhou family. Not to mention that Marquis Jing'an used to be domineering and offended many forces. Now the Marquis of Jing'an is gone, and most of the strong are dead. Those forces will certainly not give up the opportunity to beat the dog in the water. It's just the reward she issued. It's enough to attract a lot of people's hearts. And these servant guards kneeling and surrendering in front of them will definitely be the most brutal group. Often the traitor, when dealing with the original master, he will be more cruel than strangers. This is what her father told her. She never quite understood. But at this moment, looking at those trembling guards of Jing'an Hu's family, when they heard her words. Suddenly bright eyes, flushed face, rapid breathing. She understood a little bit. Maybe one. This is because the betrayer feels guilty. This guilt is too heavy. So heavy that they don't want to see the master who made them feel guilty again. You guys, count out the wealth in the Hu's mansion. She then pointed to a few trembling kneelings on the ground, and gave instructions like the housekeeper. Hall of Jing'an Marquis Mansion. Li Yu looked at the meat field cores that had been moved ahead, and exclaimed. A meat field of heavenly origin high rank. There are 3 meat fields in heavenly origin mid rank. Heavenly origins low level meat field 9. 17 ordinary meat fields. It's really rich. Is this the background of the top power? His Li family also has 5 heavenly origin level meat fields. But that's just the low-level meat of heavenly origin. That is, the meat field transformed from heavenly origin 1 or 2/3 stage beasts. And now, meat fields of this level. There are a total of 9 Jing'an mansions. Seeking Flowers 0. A higher level. There are also 3 heavenly origin mid-rank meat fields whose value is at least 5 or 6 times higher. It is the top-level heavenly origin high-rank meat field in the entire Yan Kingdom, and there is one. By value, a heavenly origin low-priced meat field is worth 2 to 30 million taels of silver. And the heavenly origin mid-rank meat field is worth more than hundreds of millions of taels of silver. Heavenly origin high-rank meat field. It even reached the terrifying value of 6 or 7 billion taels of silver. Counting what he got from the Jing'an Hufu storage bag. This battle, it almost allowed him to obtain astonishing resources worth nearly 1.5 billion taels of silver out of thin air. The purchasing power of 1 tael of silver is equivalent to about 1,000 yuan before crossing. 1.5 billion taels of silver. That is equivalent to 1.5 trillion before time travel. This time, I don't have to worry about meat fields for a long time. With a smile on his face, he said with satisfaction. Looking at the Hu's mansion outside the hall, and Nan'an County City outside the Hu's mansion. He pondered slightly. The wealth of the Jing'an Hu mansion is naturally much more than that. There are also a large number of fixed industries. Pity, my Li family is thin, so I can't eat those. And it doesn't have much effect on my Li family. He shook his head. Stop thinking about it. Where there is strength, there is everything. If his Li family can safely digest the harvest this time, there is no doubt that his strength will continue to advance by leaps and bounds again. At that time, nothing. The days passed. After beheading and exterminating all members of the Zhou family in Jing'an Hufu, Li Yu returned directly to Beiyin County without any nostalgia. But the aftermath of this battle caused a sensation in the entire 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River, and even the entire Yan Kingdom. Jing'an Marquis Mansion. It was completely crushed. This is a behemoth that has already stood at the top level. For a while, I don't know how many eyes, looking at Beiyin County in surprise and uncertainty. Especially the rumors. North Yan Li's family is the bloodline family. This makes the top forces in Yan country even more frightened and fearful. In such an atmosphere, more than a month passed in a blink of an eye. Reminder. Li Daoyan's, Taizan Natural God Chapter, was promoted to the first stage, and the cultivation base was promoted to Heavenly Origin first stage. Reminder. Li Daosu's, Taizan Natural God Chapter, was promoted to the first stage, and the cultivation base was promoted to Heavenly Origin first stage. Reminder. Li Zimo's, Taizan Heavenly God Chapter, was promoted to the first stage, and the cultivation base was promoted to Heavenly Origin first stage. Hint. Li Ziran's, Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang, was promoted to the first floor, and the cultivation base was promoted to Qingyuan first stage. Hint. Li Daolong, Ding, your family's martial arts, Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang, has observed a large number of martial arts, and has a deep understanding, and deduced the method of Heavenly Origin third stage cultivation, district holy grade. Ding, your family's martial arts, Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang, swallowed a large amount of spirit power, extremely excited, and the speed of cultivation increased by 220 times. Ding, your family's martial arts, Tiger's 9 steps sensed its own weakness, and took the initiative to integrate into the Blood City secret demon Zanpakudo. Finally, everyone has been promoted to Heavenly Origin first stage. In the hall, a smile appeared on the corner of Li Yu's mouth. Compared with more than a month ago. At this time, his strength once again undergoes an astonishing transformation. More than a month ago. Kimming Cultivator can also make him a little bit distressed. After all, the opponent can fly, so it is difficult to keep him. But now, he is sure, as long as the Kimming Cultivator dares to stand within 50 meters of him, he can make the Kimming Cultivator unable to fly, just kill him. 36%. Chapter 106. The Empress Dowagers will obtain the Baoshan seal. Third change. An ordinary body refining 9th stage practitioner has a body strength of about 3,000 jin. After being promoted to Heavenly Origin Martial Master, True Qi is born inside this part of True Qi. The attack power is roughly equivalent to a force of 1,500 jin. And being nourished by True Qi, the physical strength will also increase somewhat, around 500 jin. That is to say, the usual body refining 9th stage practitioner, after being promoted to Heavenly Origin first stage, the attack power is roughly equal to the strength of 5,000 caddies. Certainly, this is just the basics. Everyone practiced different combat martial arts and mastered different levels. The gap between the attack power that can be exerted in the end is not small. and my children and grandchildren. The 7 external skills have reached the 10th level, and their physique is so strong that it can be called the world's limit of body refining realm. Practice the Tai Zan Tian Shengxian Zhang and other low-level holy martial arts. After being promoted to heavenly origin first stage, physical strength directly increased by about 8,000 catties. While wearing true qi, it has an attack power comparable to 24,000 jin. Li Yu whispered, extremely satisfied. Take the eldest son Li Daosu as an example. At this time, the cultivation base of heavenly origin first stage. Counting the physical body and true qi, it can almost explode with an attack power of about 80,000 jin. This basic condition is no weaker than 8th stage martial master. If you use the heavenly serpent spirit body again, even if 580 can't compare to the attack power of the divine palace great master's 200,000 jin strength. Not far behind, even if you count the suppression of the dragon pattern, the terror of the Dali demon fist, and the power of the blood capital mystic demon Zanpakudo. One-on-one, they can rival the divine palace great master like Zhou Qing, the eldest son of Jing'an Hu Mansion. Certainly, the spirit body of the snake does not last long. Even if it is incorporated into the Taizan Natural God chapter, it can only last about 60 breaths at most. That's about 3 minutes. This time is short. In fierce fighting, it will appear shorter. Therefore, it cannot be used until the critical moment. But even if it's just a conventional combat power, Li Daosu and others can also suppress the 5 armies. Compared with more than a month ago, Li Daoyan and the others had to use the heavenly serpent spirit body to kill the 9th stage martial master. The strength has undoubtedly improved too much. But to advance to heavenly origin 2nd stage, Li Yu frowned. Meatloaf at home is perfectly adequate. 100 catties of heavenly origin high-rank exotic meat and 300 catties of heavenly origin mid-rank exotic meat are produced daily. The nutritional value is comparable to 4,000 catties of heavenly origins low-grade exotic animal meat. These are enough to meet the needs of 7 people in the family. Even if the cultivation base is increased, the growth rate of the meat field can be increased, which is also satisfactory. But, heavenly origin realm practice, although qi transformation can be refined. But this is not the fastest way to improve cultivation base. Refining spirit coins, heaven and earth spirit stones. It is the fastest way to practice heavenly origin martial master. The spirit power needed to cultivate the Taizan natural divine seal is too much. It is 100 times that of an ordinary martial master. And although the Taizan natural god seal swallowed a large amount of spirit power, the speed of practice has also increased. But by contrast, if it is simply refining qi transformation, then advance from heavenly origin first stage to heavenly origin second stage. It is also almost half the time of a martial master with low qualifications. Low qualification martial master promoted from heavenly origin first stage to heavenly origin second stage. Even if the meat of the alien beast is enough, it will take 3 or 4 years at the earliest. And actually outside, how could a martial master with this kind of qualifications be enough to have enough exotic beast meat? Dao Su and the others are going to be promoted to heavenly origin second stage. If it's just purely refining qi transformation, it will probably take at least a year and a half. Li Yu whispered and shook her head slightly. A year and a half. Too long. This is just a promotion from heavenly origin first stage to heavenly origin second stage. What about the back? First stage takes longer than first stage. Afraid to reach 9th stage martial master realm. There is no need to think about it for 20 or 30 years. This time, Li Daosu and others were able to advance from body cultivator to heavenly origin so quickly. Mainly because of the hundreds of spirit coins and the heaven and earth spirit stones in Li Yu's hand. But now, except for the heaven and earth spirit stones and some spirit power, all the spirit coins have already been used up. Spirit coins, heaven and earth spirit stones. It takes a lot of these 2 resources to greatly increase the speed of practice. He muttered to himself, but don't talk about heaven and earth spirit stones. Even spirit coins are extremely precious, one worth millions of taels of silver. And there is no place to change it. It seems that my Wusheng patriarch, it's time to come out and stir up the wind and the rain. He has strange eyes and hands behind his back, killing and setting fire to the inanimate ancestor. Be kind to Mrs. Li. Father. At this time, Li Daosu came from outside and bowed to salute. Now his aura is more and more stable, walking like a dragon and a tiger, like a mountain. With black hair, shawl, and calm eyes, there is a kind of temperament that Mount Tai collapsed in front of him, and his color does not change. As the strength gets stronger, the character in his bones became more prominent, and his power became heavier. But in front of the old father, he was still the son back then, with a somewhat simple and honest look on his face. The state agrees, Li Yu said. He gently picked up the tea next to him, put it to his mouth and took a sip. Not the state capital. It's the court in Kyoto, and the decree came directly. Li Daosu opened his mouth and said, "Oh, Kyoto." Li Yu put down her teacup and looked at her eldest son in surprise. The decree passed down by the Queen Mother, or the decree passed down by the King of Yan. King Yan has been replaced several times in recent years. Now this King of Yan is only 11 years old, so he is ignorant. But this Yan Wang's mother is a woman with a strong wrist, and she has the support of a wealthy family behind her. He has mastered some power in the court, and can fight against those powerful officials. Queen. Li Daosu's voice was somewhat dignified. He also listened to his father's analysis of the situation in the court. Nature knows the difference. Interesting. This Empress Dowager is not yet 30 years old, but she is indeed not weak. Li Yu smiled. If his Li family accepts the order, this is tantamount to telling the rest of Yan's courtiers that his Li family is biased towards the Queen Mother's line. If you don't accept the order, then the Li family asked for the 3 positions of Magistrate of Yingtai County, Magistrate of Beiyin County, and Magistrate of Fengyang County. It's like soaking in soup. Even if the Li family can directly occupy these 3 cities, that's also unfair. Father, do you want to refuse? Li Daosu asked. Agreed. These ministers are not fools. Just because my Li family has accepted the Queen Mother's order, they will not regard us as a thorn in the side or a thorn in the flesh. Li Yu said casually. He still didn't say a word. No matter how deep his calculations are. But in the face of absolute strength, they are all paper tigers. With his current strength, he is not afraid of some calculations from the court at all. Even if he really offended some powerful officials for this. What is he afraid of? Yes. Li Daosu nodded and left. Looking at the back of the eldest son, Li Yu's eyes lightly turned to the family interface. Information about the eldest son. Name, Li Daosu. Identity, the 2nd generation of the Li family. Cultivation base, heavenly origin 1st stage. Martial arts. Taizan Heavenly God Chapter. Vigorous Demon Fist. Supernatural, 2nd level Demon True Intent. Blood City Secret Demon Zanpakudo. Shaocheng Abstruse Troll Sword Wheel. 5 Tigers Broken Door Knife. Return to Origin 5 Tigers. Kisha Yuanyang Arrow Technique. Great Completion. The information panel is much simpler. A major in cultivation technique. A fist technique. 2-door saber technique. A method of archery. It's still short of a skill. It's a pity that for more than a month, I have been hanging on the transaction interface to buy, but I am not satisfied. Li Yu shook his head. This more than a month. Naturally, some traversers also sent him letters, all of them were of the top rank of the earth. But these agility, they are all just ordinary high-grade earth level, he is not satisfied. So now the family's martial arts and body skills are still vacant. However, the original Hupu 9 steps was integrated into the Blood City Secret Demon Zanpakutao, and it is barely enough for the time being. There is no rush. Suddenly, several messages popped up. Reminder. You have completely destroyed the 3rd hostile force, the Jing'anhu Mansion, and you will be rewarded. Baoshan Seal Remnant, Heavenly Rank Top Grade. Hint. The first person in this area destroys the 3rd hostile force, and the reward is, Heaven and Earth Spirit Stones 1. Reminder. The 3rd place in the world destroys the 3rd hostile force, and the rewards are, Junyuan Wushui 6, Heavenly Rank Top Grade, Heaven and Earth Spirit Stones 2. The hostile mission is finally completed. Li Yu was overjoyed when she saw the messages that popped up one after another. More than a month ago, he thought that he would be able to complete the task by leveling the Jing'anhu Mansion. But don't want to. The system is unresponsive. Later he guessed, it may be necessary to kill all the bloodlines in the Jing'anhu Mansion. Or 99 out of 10 will be possible to complete. This more than a month. He is remote control this matter. The rewards were hung high in the 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River, and even extended beyond the 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River. Finally, hard work pays off. Completely completed this hostile mission today. However, in the world, there are actually 2 people who finished 1.5 times ahead of me. I don't know how it's done. He whispered softly. I didn't think too much about it. This is the real world. If you have the wrist, it is also possible to invite powerful forces to take action. It's just the third hostile force, which already belongs to the top level of a country. It is obviously too difficult to invite forces that can remove such behemoths. Call. Objects slowly appeared in front of him. Li Yu watched. Yuan smiled. I was still thinking about where to get heaven and earth spirit stones or spirit coins. In the blink of an eye, there are 3 more heaven and earth spirit stones in his hand. Any spirit stones of heaven and earth. The spirit power contained is almost 100 times that of the true chi of the 9th stage martial master. Worth as much as a county. If it is measured by spirit coins, it is about 3,000 spirit coins. These 3 heaven and earth spirit stones. Enough for children and grandchildren cultivation base to improve rapidly again. And this fragment of the Baoshan seal. He flipped through the only combat martial art in front of him, and it wasn't the full version. The more I look at it, the more shocked I am. What a scary Baoshan seal. Practicing to the extreme, being able to hug mountains and walk, is simply ruining the world. 36%. Chapter 107. Spirit Tao Sect. Changes in Goldfinger. 4th more. Unfortunately, it's just a remnant copy. After a long time, Li Yu closed the fragment of the Baoshan seal in her hand and said regretfully. But even if it's just a remnant, only the first 3 formulas. That's pretty scary too. In heavenly rank high-grade combat martial arts, it must be the top level. It's totally a terrifying martial art that can make the strength of the Divine Palace Great Master skyrocket. But the conditions for practice are also extremely harsh. Even the ordinary Divine Palace Great Master doesn't have such a high-performance multi-comprehension. Practice is harsh and not afraid. I'm afraid it's not powerful enough. He smiled slightly. This, Baoshan seal, is a fist technique. If you want to like fist technique's eldest son Li Daosu, second son Li Daolong, and third grandson Li Ziran, you will be ecstatic. Compared with the powerful demon fist. But it was much more terrifying. Subsequently, his gaze was on the other 6 heavenly rank top-grade True Yuan Wushui books, his eyes sparkled. This more than a month. Through the trade interface. He bought back 3 local top-grade True Chi martial arts and 2 heavenly rank top-grade True Chi martial arts. Plus the 4 True Chi martial arts from the hands of Jing'anho. Only then did the Tai Zan Tian Shengxian Zhang deduce the cultivation method of heavenly origin 3rd stage. He found this Tai Zan natural God's seal is actually not fixed. Instead, as the subsequent cultivation methods are deduced, the previous cultivation methods will also be slightly changed. Become stronger and more amazing. For example, the Tai Zan Tianshang God chapter True Chi, they have cultivated now. It's just like when I just performed the 21st stage of the 1st stage. The cultivated Tai Zan natural divine seal True Chi is about 1/25 stronger. That is, the power of about 1,000 caddies of strength. Not much though, but it's an astonishing thing. Discover this. He no longer blindly pursues heavenly rank's top-tier true essence martial arts. After all, this is a very mature cultivation technique that knows how to repair itself. There are 6 heavenly rank high-grade true essence martial arts. The cultivation method of heavenly origin 4th stage can be deduced. And before the Tai Zan Tian Shengxian Zhang, I only watched 2 heavenly rank top-grade Junyuan martial arts. This time, Tai Zan Tianshang God chapter True Chi is estimated to become much stronger. He is in high spirits. Immediately open the cultivation technique in your hand and look through it. Time flows quietly. The sun sets in the west, and the moon rabbit rises in the east. Day and night passed in a blink of an eye. Li Yu put down the last heavenly rank top-grade Junyuan Wushui. Ding. Your family's martial arts. Tai Zan Tianshengshenzhang watched a lot of martial arts, excited, felt that life has a great meaning, worked hard day and night, and interpreted the heavenly origin 4th stage cultivation method. Minor revisions have been made where I am satisfied. Only half a day has passed. A message popped up in front of Li Yu. At the same time, a lot of information flooded his mind. The content contained in this information is extremely complex. It is far more complicated and miraculous than any top-grade cultivation technique. There is actually a vision map. He was slightly taken aback. Look at the visualization map that emerges in your mind. It is a golden sea. There is a scarlet sacred tree standing in the sea, and the canopy covers the whole sea. The raging divine fire was burning on the sacred tree, with a terrifying to unimaginable heat. On the sacred tree, a golden divine bird raised its head high, spread its wings, and the golden god rose billions of feet. It has 3 legs and sharp eyes. Looking from afar, this is like an eternal blazing sun, shining all over the world. This is the mythical 3-legged golden crow. Li Yu was dumbfounded. Wally, is this Tai Zan Tian Shengxian Zhang so awesome? The 3-legged golden crow in myths and legends is actually interpreted into a visualization picture. However, this vision is still very vague. Even in most of the areas, there is no magical aura, just a picture. Only the billions of feet of golden flames rushed from the 3-legged golden crow. There was a ray of magical light. It means that you can visualize. Although it was just a ray of golden flame. But when he focused his attention on it, he seemed to see a golden sea of fire. After a long time, Li Yu woke up. According to the cultivation technique that has been slightly modified once, he operates the Taizan natural divine seal true qi in his body. Immediately, the number of true qi began to decrease. A full reduction of 10%. This 10% reduction of true qi has been integrated into the remaining 90% of true qi. Make that 90% true qi stronger and more condensed. If this is filled, it is estimated that Wei will be strengthened by almost 1/10. His face was full of surprise. This Taizan natural god seal is too strong. After observing these 6 heavenly rank top grade Junyuan martial arts, it really got even scarier. His current physical strength is about 330,000 jin. And an astonishing Taizan natural divine seal true qi attack power. It also almost reached the attack strength of 180,000 jin. That is to say, enhanced by 1/10. The attack strength of his Taizan natural divine seal true qi can be close to 20 million. Cooperate with physical strength, that is 530,000 caddies. Comparable to more than a month ago, displaying the strength of the celestial snake spirit body. Such a terrifying strength, and then display the heavenly serpent spirit body. He thinks, in the country of Yan. Not to mention invincible, but it should be able to run amok. Hint, Hu Jing'an, Zhou Yuan, used to be the inner disciple of the Lingdao sect, of the immortal cultivation sect. Because he fell in love with his junior sister, Bai Huan, he was jealous and framed by his senior brother, Ren Baichuan, and was expelled from the sect. Hint, 40 years have passed, the former concubine was promoted to Qiming, and became a true disciple of the Lingdao sect, but she never forgot her senior brother, Zhou Yuan, and was inquiring about Zhou Yuan's whereabouts in the Lingdao sect. Hint, the Lingdao sect is the largest sect in the 6 kingdoms, and controls the strongest country in the 6 kingdoms region, the Linguo. 3 days later, Li Yu is basking in the sun and enjoying the massage from the maid Ah Cheng. But suddenly several messages popped up. Vori. He was stunned for a moment, then sat up directly, a little stunned. Look at the introduction in the information. He has something to say in his heart, but he doesn't know whether to say it or not. He knows. This must be the 4th hostile force set for him by the system. He will not forget, although now I look very leisurely. But in fact they traveled to this world, not to enjoy it, but to survive. From the 1st hostile force Aocean Pirates, the 2nd hostile force Kashanwei, and the 3rd hostile force Jing'anhu. One is more terrifying than the other. One is stronger than the other. If it wasn't for his family's full martial arts personality and pleasant speech, he wouldn't have to worry about it. His Li family might not be able to overcome the first hurdle of the dwarf bandit from the hostile force. He glanced at the numbers on the regional chat interface. That's a shocking 381. Half a year ago, he just crossed over, it was still 1,000. But now there are a total of 619 people missing. Needless to say, these people must have died. These are still these traversers, most of whom are still under the threat of the 2nd hostile force. One can imagine, going further, how many traversers will die. Calculated according to this ratio. There are billions of traversers, and I'm afraid they are already death 60%. Amazing death rate. But these traversers are completely and truly here to survive. I destroy the enemy fast. The speed of arranging enemies behind is also faster. He whispered to himself in his heart. But it is impossible for him to keep the hostile forces still. After all, if you don't kill the other party will also attack you. Moreover, for destroying the hostile forces, he was also very envious of the system's rewards. Just like this time, Baoshan printed remnants. 6 volumes of heavenly rank top grade true yuan martial arts. 3 heaven and earth spirit stones. If it wasn't for system rewards, where would he find these? Search through the entire Yan kingdom. They are definitely not found. There are gains and losses. If you want to walk ahead of others, you can't be timid. Certainly, he felt that he had to make good preparations in the future and start the next hostile force. Lest any time. There is a problem. Nothing is more important than the lives of my family. The other party is still in the Lingdao sect. As for 573, it will take some time for 573 to come to Yan Kingdom from Lingdao sect, even Kiming Cultivator. His face calmed down. He knew about Lingguo, and there was another country between Yangguo and Yangguo. And most importantly, this old friend of the Marquis of Jing'an obviously just got promoted to Kiming. This kind of enlightened cultivator who has just been promoted, what fear does he have? Another task. It's time to submit. He looked at the task column on the family interface. The original task. It means occupying a county seat for more than 3 months. But this task is the longer the occupation time, the richer the reward. And now, his Li family has just occupied Beiyin County for 5 months, 150 days. Originally, he wanted to continue accumulating rewards. But now the fourth hostile force has emerged. He didn't want to wait any longer. And how thick can the rewards of districts and counties be? It is estimated that the accumulation will be the same. Reminder. Occupy Beiyin County for 150 days, successfully complete the mission, and get rewards. Human level high grade sword 1500, human grade high grade armor 1500, human grade high grade crossbow 1500, and 3 ordinary meat fields. See rewards. Li Yu was stunned. What? What is this for? Obviously, these knives, battle armor, and crossbows are not for his Li family. It's for the military. After all, there are so many. But why reward him with these things? Could it be that this system also encourages them to form an army? Immediately afterwards, another message pops up. Hint. Task update. Mission. Occupy a county for more than 3 months with a population of more than 3 million. Not just this normal system interface. The strange side of another world where his family's martial arts is located suddenly popped up. There is a big plus sign in the middle. That's for adding family members. But at this time, in the lower left corner, a small plus sign appeared again. 36%. Chapter 108 Sun God Yan. Zillion Tianluo. 5th more. Quote question mark quote. Li Yu was stunned, with question marks all over her head. What is this again? Why is it so good? There is another plus sign. Could it be possible? In addition to 7 children and grandchildren, can you add another person to enjoy family martial arts? He frowned. If so, this is not a good feature. There are 7 children and grandchildren, and the number is small, so you can keep your mouth shut. But when there are too many people, there are too many people, and if there is no way to say it, it will spread. If it arouses any horror character's interest, it will be a big trouble. He tapped lightly. The interface in front of me changed. Densely packed, because the heads of the Emperor's characters appeared. Some he knew, some he didn't. They are all soldiers of the Li family army. His eyes narrowed, thoughtfully. Task just completed. Reward a large number of ordnance. It's strange that another world has an extra plus sign that can add soldiers of the Li family. But at the top of this interface, there are a few more words. Effect. 1%. Not only that, on the head portrait of each character there are names, cultivation base, cultivation technique. And a message of loyalty. Loyalty. Can this also be realized as a number? He was a little dumbfounded. And the arrangement of the characters' avatars is not based on cultivation base realm, but based on loyalty. First in line. He knows. It's called Zhuang Da. Loyalty is a full value of 100. He was originally the son of an old guard in the family. After the old guard died, he became the guard at home. Later, their Li family occupied Beiyin County, and joined the Li family's army. But did not expect. This man is so loyal. 100 points of loyalty, this is simply die-hard loyalty. Densely packed among a large number of characters. He is the only one with 100 points of loyalty. Incredible functionality. Li Yu calmed down slowly, amazed in her heart. His ability to see the loyalty of others is simply terrifying. As the saying goes, the heart is separated from the belly. This is absolutely true. Whether a person is loyal or treacherous can't be seen from the outside at all. Even the Divine Palace Great Master and Kiming Cultivator cannot see through people's hearts. Only some old people who have experienced the world and are well versed in human relations can see through it. But you can tell at a glance whether others are loyal or not. That would be complete nonsense. No matter how miraculous the immortal way is, it is impossible to see through it. He has already understood at this time the role of this interface. It is to be able to increase the soldiers of the Li family army. Enjoy 1% of the effect of the selected family martial arts. For example, the 13 Taibao Henglian. In the original Blacken, the speed of practice increased by 1,000 times. Well now, in this interface, it is the effect of increasing the speed of practice by 10 times. He can completely add some members of the Li family army based on their loyalty, so as to quickly improve their strength. This is allowing me to develop the army, backquote. Give ordnance over there, and increase the speed of practice here. The task also allowed me to occupy a county for more than 3 months. He whispered in his heart. With a wave of his hand, he sent the maid Ah Ching away. But he was still pleasantly surprised. This function. Very powerful. Moreover, the increase of 10 times the speed of practice is not very conspicuous. As far as he knows, some precious panaceas can do this. But that is only a short period of time to increase the speed of practice. Similar to improving understanding, but the effect is similar. He can completely cover it up with a panacea. Anyway, 1. He didn't mean to add the whole army. Of course, he doesn't need those soldiers with low loyalty. The tentative loyalty is more than 80, you can add it to enjoy the training speed bonus. His eyes flashed. Took a look. There are only 320 soldiers with a loyalty of more than 80. Now the number of Li family soldiers has exceeded 3,000. But only 1 in 10 met the mark. That's it. It should be caused by his Li family having the Divine Palace Great Master and destroying the powerful power accumulated by the Marquis of Jing'an. Anyone. He must be more loyal to a powerful force. After all, within a powerful force, not only can they meet their needs, but they can also rise to the next level. There is a bonus of 10 times the speed of practice. Let's lean on their supply of exotic animal meat. I can't think of half a month, all of them can be promoted to body refining 4th stage. Within 3 months, all body refining 5th stage, 6th stage. He whispered softly, and there are this group of role models. There's a wave of publicity. If the rest of the soldiers are stroked, their loyalty to their Li family will also be greatly improved. It shouldn't take too long for the 1,500 sets of human-level high-grade equipment to come in handy. Ding. Your family's martial art. Bao Shanyan wants to observe and study all kinds of mountains and rivers carefully, but they can't see them in the city at all. They are listless and their speed of practice remains the same. That night, information about Bao Shanyan popped up. It's finally out. A smile appeared on the corner of Li Yu's mouth. There are also 3 days to get the Baoshan seal. He passed it on to his children on the first day. With the name of Baoshan, it seems that I like all kinds of mountains. Tomorrow, let Li Ziran go to various places to observe the mountains and rivers. Anyway, he yearned for Ren Sha, so it happened to let him walk around. He whispered to himself, with Li Ziran's current strength. After casting the heavenly snake spirit body, it is barely comparable to a divine palace capital. Walking the rivers and lakes with such strength, what else is there to worry about? Lotus position is sitting in the room. He slowly imagined the golden crow picture of the great sun in his mind. More specifically, it is to visualize that ray of golden divine flame. With his visualization, the strong, Taizan natural God seal true chi on his body immediately flowed rapidly among the meridians. Slowly changed from colorless to pale gold. An astonishingly hot breath emanated out. If it weren't for his physical strength, he probably wouldn't be able to bear it. It's done. After a long time, Li Yu opened her eyes. The Taizan natural divine seal true chi, billowing in his body has all turned into pale gold. He came to the yard and stood still. True chi surged out from behind, condensing out. Boom. The scorching breath swept across the 4 directions. On the light golden true chi, there seems to be a layer of tool-like divine flame burning quietly. The attack intensity remains the same, but there is a terrifying blaze. Great increase in lethality. He felt it carefully, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The next moment, he thought about it. Taizan natural God chapter true chi, turned colorless again, same as normal true chi. But follow his mind. It turned pale gold again, causing the surrounding temperature to rise sharply. He raised his palm and lightly pressed it on the stone table in front of him. Silently, a palm print was melted on it, and the edges were scorched black. A satisfied smile appeared on his face. Very good, very powerful. This day golden crow visualization picture is really powerful. Just a ray of divine flames made his true chi lethality much stronger. More true chi martial arts or true chi martial arts. True chi will be more lethal when there are more places where the visualization map lights up. Quote. Even one day, it will truly form the sun god Yan and burn everything. At that time, it will be regarded as a power that can destroy the world. There was some anticipation in his eyes. But that's too far away. Urgent, or cell collection of martial arts. He looked at the message that popped up before. Your family's martial arts, Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang, is full of passion, and wants to make a big move forward, but suffers from not having more martial arts observations, and looks at you eagerly 21 halves. 4 more, he mused. Open the World Channel interface. First time speaking in World Channel. Brothers and sisters, don't miss it when you pass by. You can exchange top-grade True Chi martial arts or heavenly rank with top-grade magical item, martial arts, Lingye pill, foundation establishment pill, Fengeling pill, common meat field, etc. Authentic True Yuan martial arts. He has too many things in his hands. And he has found out. In the trade interface, each person can only place 5 demands. His 5 needs have been fulfilled. So I can only shout out on World Channel to see the effect. Suddenly, World Channel lively. Damn it, the boss has appeared. This is really a boss. Look at what Dao took out, and tremble. Too strong. Boss, let's get married. I have a granddaughter who is 16 years old and beautiful. She is absolutely worthy of being a big boss. Upstairs, you actually want to be a grandpa. Boss still has foundation establishment pill in his hands. As the big man's meat field already enough to be traded. Stunned. Seriously suspect that this boss is cheating, otherwise how could there be so many good things? Drool. Boss, do you want to learn the true chi martial arts of the lower rank? I have it. Upstairs you are insulting the boss, and the low-rank true chi martial arts gods look down on you. Although watching one by one of the traversers call the boss and keep praising him, it made him feel at ease. But no one contacted him, which made him feel not very beautiful. But that's just what he had in mind. A chat interface pops up. Do you want the top-ranked True Essence martial art? I have a copy that was just unearthed. No, it's the Zilian Tian Luo Ling Ju, given by a senior who has been dead for many years. Quote question mark quote. Spirit rank high-grade martial arts. Li Yu stared at her in shock. Wally, you can even get spirit rank high-grade martial arts. This is a realm higher than heavenly rank in martial arts. It's in the rumors. You can cultivate to the cultivation technique book above the Divine Palace Grand Master realm. If the Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang can watch this, how much power will it increase again? 37%. Chapter 109 Chenkin Coin Furnace. Get the treasure. First update. Above the Divine Palace Great Master. Li Yu didn't even know what that realm was called. After all, the strongest cultivation technique in his hands is only the top grade of heavenly rank. And the heavenly rank top grade true essence martial arts. It can only make people cultivate to the peak of Divine Palace. There are only a few words about the realm above the Divine Palace. All he knew was the realm. It seems to be related to the 7 souls in the body. Change. What would you like? Taking a deep breath, he replied without hesitation. Don't talk about spirit rank's top tier true yuan martial arts. It is the lower grade of spirit rank. If you put it in the country of Yan, you will probably be robbed of your head. Let the Divine Palace Great Master work hard. 2 heavenly origin level meat farms with more than half their lifetimes. A traverser named Wang Zan immediately sent a message. Make a deal. With a flash of eyes, Li Yu agreed directly. Heavenly Origin's low-level meat field, he has 15 in his hand. 6 of them have less than half their lifespan. But the 9 Heavenly Origin low-level meat fields brought from Jing'anhu Mansion. However, it is well maintained and has more than half its lifespan. These Heavenly Origin low-level meat fields, their Li family can't use it for the time being. Therefore, they are all growing at a normal speed and healthy, and can accumulate about 1,400 caddies of exotic animal meat every day. The 100 caddies less. It was given to some martial masters who took refuge as salaries. Ever since he beheaded the Marquis of Jing'an and stepped on the mansion of the Marquis of Jing'an. For more than a month. There are many kinds of martial masters coming from all over the south of the Yangtze River to seek refuge. However, Li Daosu continued one after another, and only selected a dozen martial masters with good reputations. This is what Li Yu requested. Their Li family is not some random force. For those martial masters who want to come here purely for profit, what is he going to do? And he had ordered to go down during the day. In the future, we can collect more martial masters and throw them all into the Li family army's own 533 special teams. As long as you enter the Li family army, whether you are cunning like a ghost or have superb acting skills, he will see through at a glance. FK. Brother is refreshing. My friend, Wang Zan, has made an appointment. In the future, if there is something from a senior expert, I will definitely give it to my brother as soon as possible. Wang Zan yelled, with excitement in her voice. In his opinion, this business is a big profit. After all, for cultivation technique, he wouldn't lose a cent if he traded it to the other party. He won the 2 heavenly origin level meat fields for nothing. He didn't expect the other party to be so rich and powerful. At first he thought that the other party was going to bargain, and then he resorted to his ancestral housekeeping skills to speak out. Brother, I like this sentence. You are absolutely satisfied with the price I can give you here. Li Yu smiled and replied. Grave robber can be in this world, but also succeed in tomb robbery. And the tomb robber who got spirit rank top grade true yuan martial arts. This method is definitely not for ordinary people. To know, whether cultivator or practitioner, as long as it is the end of life, or there is time to arrange before death. That cemetery must be unusual. Just like the martial master of the Fang family back then, only the skeleton remains. But the power of true meaning still remains, making it difficult for practitioners in body refining 7th stage. And that's just martial master. And the mausoleum that can exist in the spirit rank high grade Junyuan martial arts. The strength of the master cultivation base can be imagined. But it was still dug up by this tomb robber named Wang Zan. He doesn't bargain. The purpose is to see if the other party can get some good things in the future. Anyway, Heavenly Origins low-level meat fields. In his eyes, the value has dropped greatly. Soon, the transaction between the two is completed. With a flash of light, there was an extra book in Li Yu's hand that looked rather simple. The whole body of the cheat book is purple, as if there is still a trace of purple energy rising. But if you look closely, there seems to be nothing. This appearance is far superior to heavenly rank high-grade martial arts. Li Yu admired. I can't wait to check it out. But the news of Wang Zan came again, mysteriously. Brother, you are so straightforward, I can't hide and drag you. I have another good thing here, an absolute good thing, do you want it? See this message. In Li Yu's mind, there is an image of Fatty who is wretched, looking around. But, nice one. There was a smile on the corner of his mouth, and he replied. What good stuff. How about trade interface identified as Chenkin coin furnace, definitely a good thing. This is what I worked so hard to get from an ancient tomb. Ahem, it was left to me by a senior. Wang Zan said. And actually, he didn't know the use of this cosmic coin furnace at all. Anyway, no matter how he operates, this thing has no response at all. He also knew it was supposed to be a good thing. But what's the difference between a good thing that you don't use and a waste? Seeing how rich and powerful Li Yu is, his heart suddenly became active. Thinking about using this unknown Chenkin coin furnace to exchange for some treasures that I can use. Chenkin coin furnace. Li Yu stared. The level of the other party is not enough, and they cannot touch things at the level of Divine Palace Great Master and Kiming Cultivator. But he has already had contact. Divine Palace Great Master, Kiming Cultivator levels. What is the most important thing? Natural coins. That is something that can increase the speed of Kiming Cultivator, Divine Palace Great Master practice. It is also the most precious currency. And the moment he almost heard the words, Chenkin coin furnace, he felt intuitively in his mind. This may be related to Lingbi. What is this? What do you want to change? The lion opened his mouth and you can keep it for yourself. His eyes flickered and his breathing became a little short. But the reply was still in a tone of indifference. Something that will allow me to complete the mission of the second hostile force. Wang Zan said immediately. I have 10 Earth level low grade spirit talismans and 4 Earth level middle grade spirit talismans, half for attack and half for defense, how about it? Li Yu breathed a sigh of relief. The other party did not open his mouth as much as a lion. These talismans, they were all found from those Zhou family members in Jing'anhu's mansion. Jing'an, who is a Foundation Establishment Master, CBFC, returned to Origin Cultivator, and there are several Foundation Establishment Cultivators in his clan. Naturally, many talismans were refined, especially for the courtiers in the family. These talismans, as long as it can be stimulated with the power of qi and blood. It is weaker than using magic power or true qi to stimulate, but it can fully meet the requirements of the other party. Make a deal, Wang Zan said in surprise. Sigh at the same time. Isn't the gap between people too big? They are all traversers, why is the other party so awesome? You can take out the heavenly origin meat field casually, and there are so many earth-level charms to trade. Looking at the quaint human cauldron, which is only the size of 2 heads and has a red body. Li Yu was a little dazed. This thing, is it the Chenkin coin furnace? How to use? He'd thought it was at least about the size of a normal human cauldron. But it's too small, isn't it? Certainly, he didn't suspect it was a fake. After all, the trade interface will identify it, and it is impossible for fakes to appear. Legends say that spirit coins are made by mixing the spirit stones of heaven and earth with some other things. Heaven and earth spirit stones. Li Yu muttered. Suddenly his eyes lit up. He immediately took out a heaven and earth spirit stones from the storage bag. The 3 heaven and earth spirit stones rewarded by the system are still in his hands. As for the original one, it was given to the children and grandchildren for cultivation. An extremely majestic spirit power is contained in a heaven and earth spirit stones. Even the cultivation needs of Li Daosu and others are extremely astonishing. But the spirit stones of heaven and earth are enough to support all of them to advance to heavenly origin. Just took out the heaven and earth spirit stones. Immediately Li Yu felt, the Chenkin coin furnace was shaking slightly. And the heaven and earth spirit stones in his hands are also trembling slightly. The two seem to be attracted to each other. Sure enough, heaven and earth spirit stones are needed. Li Yu was pleasantly surprised. Without hesitation, he put the heaven and earth spirit stones in his hand into the heaven and earth coin furnace. For a moment, a dazzling crimson light gushed out, completely filling the entire secret room. Rumble, a roar came. The Chenkin coin furnace, which was only the size of 2 heads, exploded in red light. Just in the blink of an eye, it soared to a height of 1 foot. A large number of strange and mysterious symbols emerged on the surface. Under the impact of an astonishing force, all the symbols were rushed out 3 feet away, spinning rapidly, and the red light was dazzling. Li Yu is blessed to the soul. Suddenly bit the tip of his tongue, and poured a drop of blood into the Qian Kun coin furnace. Call. Immediately, a large amount of information flooded into my mind along a kind of hidden connection. After a long time, the red light on the Chenkin minting furnace slowly dissipated, and it returned to its original size, simple and unsophisticated. Li Yu also woke up. There was surprise and excitement on his face. Chenkin coin furnace. Sure enough, it is a tool for casting spirit coins. The spirit power contained in 1 heaven and earth spirit stones is equivalent to 3,000 spirit coins. But, if a piece of heaven and earth spirit stones is mixed with some other things in the Chenkin coin furnace, it will be minted into a spirit coin. That is enough to cast 10,000 pieces. More than triple the income. This is simply a peerless treasure. Even the number 1 immortal cultivator in the 6 kingdoms, such as the Lingdao sect, absolutely does not have such a treasure. He took a deep breath, suppressing the surging emotions in his heart. Earn big. Only a dozen talismans were exchanged for 1 such treasure. It was simply smoke rising from their old Li family's ancestral grave. He can't even imagine. Where did Wang Zan get this kind of treasure? And there are still materials needed for the Chenkin coin furnace. Not something else. It was the meat of a different animal. It doesn't matter whether it's ordinary beast meat or other beast meat of the same level, it's fine. It's a pity that activating the Cosmos coin furnace consumes a heaven and earth spirit stones. But there are still 2 half-day spirit stones. It can mint 25,000 spirit coins. Without any hesitation, he immediately took back the half of the heaven and earth spirit stones. Then let people take all the exotic animal meat in stock at home. All shipped. There are 25,000 spirit coins. Not only everyone in the family can practice without any scruples. You can even use spirit coins. Get some more precious things from the trade interface. There are so many traversers. Naturally, some people already know about Lingbi. Anyone who knows the function of spirit coins. Who doesn't want it? Whatever treasure you have in your hand, you will be willing to trade it. 37%. Chapter 110 Casting Spirit Coins, the inanimate patriarch reappears. Second more. In the previous chapter, Heavenly Origin should have 15 low-level meat farms. The data has been changed. Readers who see the correct content, please ignore it. For more than a month, there are a total of 31 ordinary meat farms in their Lee family. All have slowed down, growing 3 to 100 catties a day. This lifespan can reach about 2 years. 31. That's 9,300 jin of ordinary exotic animal meat per day. It consumes about 5,000 catties. The balance is 4,300 catties. More than a month down. The family has a total balance of more than 200,000 catties of common animal meat. Now, all were cut neatly and transported to the secret room. The meat of different animals has no fishy smell, but has a faint meaty aroma. The pattern is extremely beautiful, even more beautiful than the snowflake beef before crossing. And the heavenly origin level alien meat. There are also more than 70,000 catties. I don't know how much different beast meat I need to make a spirit coin. Li Yu whispered softly. He reactivated the Chenkin coin furnace. Immediately, the red light scrolled, and I flashed. First put the half of the world spirit stones into a special place for spirit stones. Immediately afterwards, he waved his hand lightly, true chi surged. Throw 10,000 catties of ordinary exotic animal meat into the Qian Kun coin furnace. Rumble. A series of muffled thunderous sounds came from the Qian Kun coin furnace. There are also crystal clear tentacles extending from the back of the Qian Kun coin furnace, as if piercing into the void. This is. Li Yu stared. He could faintly see it. There seems to be a glimmer of light. It was absorbed by those crystal tentacles from somewhere. Could it be possible? Is this the key to the Chenkin coin furnace, being able to mint spiritual coins? An hour later, 10 spirit coins rolled out, exuding powerful spirit power. Any spirit coin, almost all equivalent to 10 heavenly origin first stage martial master full body true chi. 30 spirit coins add up. It can be compared to the majestic true chi of 9th stage martial master. 10,000 catties of ordinary animal meat, combined with heaven and earth spirit stones, can cast 10 spirit coins. Li Yu's eyes flickered. Without hesitation, he put all the remaining ordinary beast meat into it. Time flies. The day and night passed quickly. Spirit coins rolled out one after another and piled up on the ground, exuding an astonishing aura. A total of more than 210 spirit coins. It is twice as much as the accumulation of the Marquis of Jing'an over the past few decades. Then, he put all the heavenly origin level of different animal meat into it. It's only half a day. More than 1,000 spiritual coins rolled out one after another. 10,000 catties of heavenly origin low-grade exotic animal meat, probably minted about 15,000 campus coins. Li Yu nodded. 10,000 catties of heavenly origin low-grade exotic animal meat. Probably worth 1.5 million taels of silver. But 150 spirit coins. But the value is definitely more than 150 million taels of silver. So, the value of exotic meat is almost negligible. The most important thing about this Chenkin coin furnace is the heaven and earth spirit stones. But now, I have heaven and earth spirit stones, but lack of exotic beast meat. He smiled slightly. Not in a hurry. Around 1,300 spirit coins. This is already an extremely terrifying wealth. It is almost comparable to the accumulation of more than 200 years in the Jing'an Hu mansion. Everyone in the family practiced. It is also completely sufficient for a short time. After all, even if the practice speed of the Taizan Tianshang Divine Chapter is increased by more than 200 times. But with one spirit coin, one person can practice for about 2 days. Of course, the time of breakthrough is different. At the moment of breakthrough, the required spirit power will be extremely amazing. Actually, before 7 people were allowed to cultivate with the spirit stones of heaven and earth, 70% of the spirit power was wasted. Li Yu shook his head. Just like the heavenly snake back then. The heaven and earth spirit stones directly formed a cold pool. This is also a huge waste. But the spirit stones of heaven and earth are a kind of divergent energy. As long as someone absorbs it from outside, spirit power will continuously flow out in all directions. Unlike spirit coins, fully locked spirit power. If someone absorbs it, spirit power will only flow to the absorber. Maybe, that's why Power invented the heaven and earth coin furnace, to cast the spirit stones of heaven and earth into spirit coins. Li Yu was thoughtful. The next day, Li Yu handed out the spirit coins. Hundreds per person. Almost enough for Lee Deosu and others to advance to Heavenly Origin 4th stage. If there is no spirit coin, they are going to advance to Heavenly Origin 4th stage. At least 6 or 7 years. And now, almost 5 months is enough. The speed of practice has been greatly improved. And this is not counting the spirit power devoured by the Taizan Heavenly God Seal. The speed of practice has been increasing. So actually, it didn't take 5 months for Lee Deosu and others to advance to Heavenly Origin 4th stage. And wait for them to advance to Heavenly Origin 4th stage. The strength of a body will definitely be extremely terrifying, and it can completely kill the Divine Palace Great Master. Daoyan, you call these people over. Yard. Li Yu looked at the more peaceful temperament in front of her, like a ladylike daughter, and ordered. He was also a little speechless. 7 children. Daughter Li Deyin is the most murderous. But the deeper the cultivation base. But it seems to be getting more and more back to the basics, and it looks more peaceful and gentle on the surface. Unknown. You will definitely think that this is a lady from a famous family who doesn't touch her hands. Certainly unexpected. When this one killed people, he still looked like this. Yes, Li Deyin said softly. She was a little puzzled. What did father call these people for? This list. Some she knew, but many more she didn't. After all, there are more than 3,000 people in the Li family army, so it is impossible for her to know everyone's famous ministers. Soon, the 320 soldiers with a loyalty of more than 80 were gathered here. These soldiers had a stroke. Cultivation base is the strongest, and it is only 12 body refining 4th stage. At this moment, everyone was anxious and uneasy, not knowing why Grandpa Li Jiayuan wanted to see them. It's exciting at the same time. After all, they are very loyal to the Li family. Naturally excited to meet this legendary Divine Palace Great Master. You are loyal to my Li family, I know very well. Li Yu looked at the many soldiers in front of him and said. He can feel. With his words fell. Many of these soldiers had a stroke, their complexions turned red a little, and they seemed very excited. He glanced at the sly surface. Found that some people's loyalty has increased by a point or two. There was a strange look in his eyes. Just agree. I agree with their loyalty, so they are more loyal. It seems. In fact, the rest of the soldiers only need to go to encourage them occasionally. Presumably, loyalty will also soar. After all, the status of Divine Palace Great Master is still extremely useful. Asking for flowers. There are now more than 3,000 Li family troops, and you are the most loyal group to my Ji family. I called you here today. It is to conduct closed training for you. During closed training, your strength will improve by leaps and bounds. It is not impossible to reach body refining 5th 6th stage, or even martial master realm. But during the closed training period, none of you can contact your family. During this period, the shortest period is 3 to 5 months, and the longest period is more than half a year. Those who don't want to accept, you can now opt out. Li Yu's voice was not loud, but it rang out over the entire courtyard. And strangely enough, his voice did not come out of the yard at all. Hiss. Body refining 5/6 stage. Even martial master. I can also hope to become a martial master. I heard. Everyone was breathing quickly, their eyes were bright, and they were extremely excited. These days, most of the people who can choose to be the top soldiers or from poor families are some down-and-out practitioners. And the martial master. In their hearts, they are all high-ranking big shots. Is there any hope of becoming such a great person? No one quit, not to mention their loyalty. It is the temptation of martial master, no one can refuse. Won't you see your family for a few months? What is this? The strange color in Li Yu's eyes flickered again. This time, the loyalty of most people has increased. There are even some improvements that are relatively large. 3 days later, you will be summoned to participate in closed training. Li Yu asked her daughter to take him down. Father, this closed training. Li Deosu was puzzled. You don't have to worry about it. Li Yu waved her hand. He planned to use the panacea as a cover during closed training. Add this group of people to another world. Just tell them. This panacea can increase their practice speed for a month. Give them one a month. Not only can it increase their loyalty again. And so, even if it spreads out in the future, it won't attract attention. After all, the medicine pill that improves the body refining practitioner's practice speed for 1 month is not very precious. With him, the Divine Palace Great Master, sitting in charge. No fear of being coveted by others. In that other world, the 13 Taibao Henglian, Dali Niu Maquan and other 7 external skills that should have been integrated into the Taizan Tianshengsheng. It can also be separated again. These soldiers, those who practice, are the 13th Taibao Henglian and the 5 tigers breaking the door knife. And they can only enjoy the effect of 1% improvement in practice speed. The rest of the effects, they cannot enjoy. For example, the true meaning of the 5 tigers contained in the 5 tigers broken door knife. They can't enjoy it at all. Whether they can comprehend it in the future depends entirely on their talent. And it would be great if there is a talent, can be promoted to martial master. Then he will not be stingy with spirit coins, and will vigorously cultivate them. After all, his Li family is too small. Those who work below naturally need a lot of loyal masters. Occupy a county for more than 3 months. Seeing the task on the task, Li Yu looked calm. 3 days later, Wusheng Patriarch's method drives Zhujiao County City. 37%. Chapter 111 Inanimate Patriarch, Devilish Prestige Unrivaled. Third change. Ha 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 ha. My inanimate ancestor. I heard that there are many meat fields in the county, so I'm here to pick up a few. Ha ha ha. Suffering wild laughter suddenly resounded over the entire county. That laughter has a very strong penetrating power. The din of hundreds of thousands of people in the entire county can't compare to this voice. Everyone looked up in astonishment. Many knowledgeable practitioners have shown horror and shouted, "Divine Palace Great Master." The people heard the words. All of them were pale, couldn't care about anything, and ran home in a hurry. Sheriff's office. Liang Laifu, the county guard who was discussing things, suddenly stood up. His pupils shrank suddenly, and he said in shock, "Divine Palace Great Master. And it's not an ordinary Divine Palace Great Master." The maniacal laughter was astonishing. The county seat is not a county seat, it is far bigger than the county seat. But the maniacal laughter still came over, showing the horror. The rest of the sheriff's office officials also stood up in shock. All of them were at a loss, their complexions turned pale. How could a Divine Palace Great Master suddenly appear in Zhujiao County? Ha ha ha, you little soldiers, dare to stop me. Boom boom boom. A terrifying explosion sounded from afar. At an astonishing speed, approaching the direction of the sheriff's mansion. The other party's target is the sheriff's mansion. Liang Laifu's complexion was pale, and there was fear in his eyes. Divine Palace Great Master. Any one of them is in existence at the top of Yan Kingdom. The court is in Qinzhou. There is no strong man of this level sitting in charge. Not to mention their Zhujiao County. For them, the Divine Palace Great Master is also a lofty existence. Never thought about it. Suddenly one day, there will be a Divine Palace Great Master coming for me. Soon, wearing a gloomy mask and a black robe, Li Yu appeared above the gate of the sheriff's mansion. Behind him, Li Zihan, dressed in the same way, followed closely, yelling, "Ancestor Wusheng, magic power is boundless. Supernatural power is vast, and the law drives Yan'an. She is amazing." The sound also spread far away, deafening. "Great, Your Excellency. I don't know how adults can drive here, so why?" Liang Laifu's scalp was so numb that it was about to split open. He looked fearfully at Li Yu, who was the great master of the evil faction, and stammered. "He can't speak up." The other party stared at him. He. Are you the sheriff?" Li Yu laughed strangely and looked down at Liang Lishuan. Right here," Liang Laifu said bravely. Ha ha ha, call. Li Yu laughed loudly, her body flashed suddenly, and she appeared in front of Liang Laifu. The whole body of the Taizan Tianshengsheng Zhang turned into a cold and cloudy nature. A palm filled with cold purple air directly hit Liang Laifu's chest. Boom! A large area of the chest of the Zhujiao County magistrate collapsed, flew out, fell to the ground and died directly. Back then Liang Laifu dared to plot against him. Now incarnated as Wusheng Patriarch, he will naturally be killed with a single palm. Moreover, too much True Qi martial arts and True Qi martial arts have been integrated into the Taizan Tiansheng Shenzhang. It can be transformed into any one of those martial arts. What he is transforming now is the Zillion Tianluo Lingju. This amazing martial art of the top rank of spirit rank. In these 3 days, he has finished observing and integrated into the Taizan Natural Divine chapter. As expected of a high-rank martial art of spirit rank, it actually directly increased the power of the Taizan Natural Divine Seal True Qi by 1/10 again. It is roughly equivalent to increasing the attack power of 20,000 Jin. Let him be equipped with true Qi, attacking Wei Da to a terrifying 220,000 Jin. Not relying on physical strength. Just the power of true Qi. He is also completely comparable to a Divine Palace Great Master. BG. Looking at Liang Lifu's body on the ground. The officials in the sheriff's mansion screamed in fear and ran for their lives in a panic. Who dares to escape? Kneel on the ground, you can avoid death. If you dare to run away, the whole family will be killed. The cold voice shook the four directions. With his voice down, Li Zihan's body turned into an afterimage, blasting away the fastest escapers in the yard, and died immediately. The rest of the officers. Immediately, his legs trembled, his face turned pale, and he quickly knelt on the ground, not daring to run away. Ha ha ha. Starting today, this county, it will be ruled by this ancestor. My ancestor wants to open the gate of the mountain. Anyone who wants to join Wushengmen can come to the county guard's mansion. Rampant laughter spread throughout the entire county. The evil and unscrupulousness in that laughter. Anyone can hear clearly and clearly. Countless people hid at home, shivering. But there are also some practitioners with bright eyes and ready to move. After half a month, under the high-handed management of Wusheng Patriarch, the county town unexpectedly calmed down strangely. Just every day, many practitioners went to the sheriff's mansion to join Wushengmen. Wusheng Patriarch will not refuse anyone who comes. All under initiation. However, these people were not released from the sheriff's mansion. Instead, it's all concentrated. Its nickname is Practice. Li Zihan, who is very interested, is in charge of all these people. At the same time, the news spread throughout Zhujiao County, and even nearby counties knew about it. Zhujiao County City is occupied by an evil faction Great Master. There are even a lot of gossip. Zhujiao County City has become a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. The Wusheng Patriarch kills 1,000 people every day and so on. Flat Dushan, a small town under the mountain. Li Ziran sat on the restaurant, drinking happily. He travels around the mountains and rivers these days, not to mention how comfortable he is. And it's a task given by my grandfather, so it's fair and square. I heard that Wusheng Patriarch has 3 heads and 6 arms, is 1 foot tall, and has a big mouth that can swallow a cow alive. Nonsense. The Wusheng Patriarch is obviously the reincarnation of the Ghost King, and he likes to eat human souls. How did I hear that Patriarch Wu Sheng was a little girl, because she was once abandoned, so she joined Devil Dao. Li Ziran was listening with great interest. But when he heard this sentence, the wine in his mouth spurted out immediately. Little girl. Abandoned. So entered Devil Dao. He wanted to laugh but didn't dare to laugh. Others don't know who this inanimate ancestor is. Can he still not understand? Just didn't expect it. The incarnation of my grandfather has been passed down, there are so many versions. Each is bizarre and not human. Sure enough, 3 people become tigers, and rumors stop with wise men. What Grandpa said always makes sense. He shook his head and continued drinking. Next, he was going to finish watching a few famous mountains nearby. Just go to White Feather Mountain. Bayou Mountain is the most majestic and famous mountain in Tanzhou. Although there is a top-notch Bayou temple on it. But he wasn't going to fight, he was just looking at the scenery. What's the matter? Li Yu, who had already returned to Beiyin County, was sitting in the lobby drinking tea leisurely. Zhujiao County City. It is enough to have the little girl Li Zihan around. This little girl has strength all over her body, and she also masters the Blood City secret demon Zanpakutao at the Xiaocheng level. Even 9th stage martial master can kill. As long as you don't run into cultivators above Divine Palace Great Master and Foundation Establishment, return to Origin or higher. If it happens, that can only use the Heavenly Snake Spirit body. Anyway, Li Zihan was wearing a black robe, covering her hair, and wearing a mask. It can't be seen that it has changed. It is impossible to think of his Li family. Ding. Your family's martial arts. Baoshan Huayan has observed the mountains and learned something. Increasing the proficiency by 1% increases the master's practice speed by 15 times. A message pops up suddenly. Li Yu looked at it casually, but didn't care. These days. Then Li Ziran was sent out to visit the mountains and rivers. From time to time, a message like this will pop up. Sometimes it increases by 1%, and sometimes it increases by 2%. Most once, increased by 4%. It has now reached 35% proficiency. This proficiency, just Baoshanyan initiation level proficiency. Only when the proficiency is full can one advance to the mastery level. The difficulty of practicing this fist technique. It has reached a level of terror. Even Li Ziran, who is the most talented in fist technique, if he cultivates by himself, it will take an unknown number of years to reach the mastery level. There may even be no hope for a lifetime. And now, just travel around. It can improve the proficiency of the whole family in the peerless fist technique of Baoshanyan. It seems that it won't be long before he can be upgraded to the mastery level and display terrifying power. It's so comfortable. Half a month. It's almost time for me to make a move. Li Yu had strange eyes and whispered to herself. Wusheng Patriarch and other evil spirits are bewitching, and everyone shouts and beats them. 1.7 The ancestor of the Li family is kind to others, and he is the great master of the righteous way. How can he allow such evil spirits and heretics to have fun? That day, from Beiyin County, Li Yu's righteous and awe-inspiring shout. Evil devils heretics dare to occupy the county town, and the people of the holy Wojiao kingdom. 5 days later, I will visit the county seat. Slash these demons and heretics under the knife. The news is out. The entire Jujiao County was a sensation. A large number of practitioners and common people cheered happily, and their hearts were full of admiration for the old man of the Li family. Hundreds of thousands of people in the county heard it. I couldn't help but burst into cheers. Every household is full of expectations. Looking forward to the old man of the Li family beheading that evil lifeless ancestor. Not only Jujiao County, many of the forces and practitioners who got the news from the surrounding counties rushed towards Jujiao County. A large number of people with lofty ideals are full of excitement. With poems and articles, he praised Mrs. Li's righteous deeds. For a while, the Li family's reputation was greatly shaken. The reputation in Jujiao County is even more fleeting. 5 days passed by in a flash. On this day, Li Yu stepped on the alien beast Sky Snake and appeared outside the city of Jujiao County. 38%. Chapter 112. Li Yuev's the old ancestor of no life. Fourth more. I'm coming. That's Mr. Li. Hiss. At the old man's feet, could it be the terrifying beast Sky Serpent that is said to be able to reach the divine palace realm by adulthood? It's too strong. I feel suffocated from a distance. The chi and blood of the old man is too terrifying. It's like smoke rising into the sky. This is the divine palace great master. It is much, much stronger than the 9th stage martial master I have seen. The old man is a powerful man who once killed the Marquis of Jing'an, far stronger than the ordinary divine palace great master. In all directions, the practitioners who came from all over were refreshed. Looking at Li Yu who is stepping on the snake. His face was excited and extremely admirable. The county was occupied by evil spirits, and the imperial court was powerless to suppress them. The demons of Dianxiangjiao watched the excitement from the sidelines, and the major forces stood by and watched. Only Mr. Li stood up, angrily rebuked the evil spirits, and wanted to kill the evil spirits under the sword. How heroic is this? What kind of charity is this? There are even many practitioners already. I have secretly decided that after this matter, I will go to Beiyin County and join the Li family. Evil demons heretics, harming the people, the crime cannot be pardoned. Today, I, Li Yu, will enter the city to eliminate demons. Li Yu stands on top of the sky snake with her hands behind her back. He has fluttering sleeves, long hair flying, and a majestic look. The blood chi surged behind him, soaring 10 feet into the sky. The sky snake roared under its feet, its inverted triangular eyes were cold and ruthless. After nearly 3 months of cultivation, there are also 10 spirit coins from Li Yu. Nowadays, the sky snake named Little Silver has grown to the level of 9th stage martial master. The body is 21 feet thick and more than 8 feet long. Standing on the ground, higher than the city wall, just like the legendary dragon. Snatched my heavenly serpent a few months ago, and killed it again today. Do you really think that my Wusheng ancestor is easy to bully? Today I will kill you, and with your blood, I will dye my demon body red. Suddenly, a gloomy and cold voice came from the city wall. The voice was terrifying, with an unbearable chill. The people watching from afar were shocked. Hastily looked. I saw a figure in a black robe standing on the city wall at some point. This black-robed figure wears an evil mask. Purple true chi gushes out from behind, tumbling, as if a terrifying troll is about to rush out, tearing the world apart. No life patriarch. Everyone was terrified. The shadow of a famous tree. This is the evil great master who dares to directly occupy the county town. It is even more legendary that more than thousands of people are killed every day. The county city has already been bloody, and the bones are like mountains. This kind of demon is heretic, and its strength is terrifying. Who is not afraid? Snort. I didn't kill you back then, but I didn't want to kill so many people. It's my fault. But it's not too late to make up for it. I will kill you today. Li Yu roared. He looked at the Wusheng patriarch on the city wall and was quite satisfied. Really, the second child, Li Daolong, played this kind of evil character with little incongruity. However, the spirit body of the snake has a time limit. There is no time to continue wasting. He rushed directly from the sky snake, stepped on the void, and his hair was flying. Make a fist with your right hand, and punch it out. The blood chi poured out behind him, and the true chi surged with a bit of blue, condensing into an ocean of sun. This is the heavenly rank top-grade Junyuan martial art, Juqing Hanhai Ju, integrated into the Tai Zan Tian Shengxian chapter. He has decided. For a period of time, people will appear. Walking in the rivers and lakes with the appearance of this cultivation technique. I'm afraid you won't succeed. Look at my troll fist technique. Old ancestor Wusheng shouted angrily. The whole body did not give in, and rushed out of the city wall, stepping into the void. With a punch from his right hand, the purple true chi on his back boiled and condensed into a purple troll. Boom boom boom. The two fought frantically in the air. Fist and fist collide, the air is easily torn, and the airflow roars. A terrifying gust of wind was blown around. Both of them are extremely fast. Sometimes in the air, sometimes on the ground. The earth has been torn open a large number of cracks, what trees, boulders. In front of the two of them, everything exploded in an instant, turning into powder. The smoke and dust soared into the sky, like two giant dragons churning, making people's eyelids jump wildly. All the people watching from a distance turned pale. They felt their hearts being pulled tight. Too strong. Horrible. All of them couldn't help but backed away, for fear that these two great masters would suddenly appear in front of them. Probably the 7th stage martial master. They will not be able to withstand the aftermath of the battle between the two, and will be shocked to death. The top of a big tree in the distance. The 9th stage martial master from Baiyuguan looked dignified. He exchanged a glance with the 9th stage martial master not far from the Qingtian gate. Although the faces of the two are extremely dignified. But they all felt a little relieved. They are well informed. I have also seen the shots of the Divine Palace Great Master many times. Although the two people in front fought fiercely, their strength was far more terrifying than theirs. But in contrast, they found that this should only be a Divine Palace Great Master level. Although not to be underestimated. But for the two factions, it is not enough to be too jealous. It's just that both of them have some doubts. Forget about Wusheng Patriarch. But didn't the old master of the Li family say that he beheaded the Marquis of Jing'an? Jing'anho is the Foundation establishment master returned to origin. 15 years ago, I killed the Divine Palace Great Master with my own hands. Such a strength. How could he be beheaded by Mrs. Li in front of him? Puff. After fighting for more than 20 breaths, old ancestor Wusheng suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, turned around and ran away, roaring in his mouth. Have a finger in the pie. The next time I meet you again, I will ask you not to live, not to die. The sound vibrates and spreads in all directions. The whole person turned into a purple afterimage. At an astonishing speed, it rushed into the mountains not far away and disappeared. Snort. It's up to you. If you dare to appear in front of me, you will definitely be beaten to death. Evil heretics. Everyone gets it and punishes it. Li Yu's body floated down. Standing on top of the sky snake, she snorted coldly. There was a bit of unwillingness on his face. As if unwilling to kill the Wusheng Patriarch. The practitioners watching from a distance were stunned for a moment, and then burst into cheers. Cheers spread into the county. After a while, there were cheers one after another in the county city. The Wusheng Patriarch has escaped. Beaten off by the old man of the Li family. They no longer have to face the threat of demons and heretics like Patriarch Wusheng. Many practitioners rushed to the sheriff's office. He wanted to kill those scum who had turned to Wusheng Patriarch before. But it's a pity that the county guard's mansion has long been empty. These practitioners could only curse a few times bitterly. The next thing is very simple. Li Yu stepped forward and directly took over the affairs of the county. Li Daosu also came later and took over all administrative and military affairs. Except for a little resistance. It went extremely well. This is naturally because when the Wusheng Patriarch was there, he cleaned up most of the loyalists. It is the same whether it is an official or a city defense army. the major families, gang halls, etc. in the city. They all expressed their surrender to the Li family. After all, Mrs. Li is a dignified divine palace great master. Moreover, the Wusheng patriarch was beaten away and the entire county was saved. 10 days later, Li Yu was in the backyard of the sheriff's mansion, basking in the sun with her eyes squinted. Father, Li Daosu came over, saluted and said, "The city is basically stable, but there are still 9 horns outside the city, how to deal with it?" Before, when Wusheng patriarch was in the city, Dai Wenmao, the leader of Zhujiao County, was extremely alert and hid in the mountains with his confidants. It is also impossible for Li Yu to search all over the mountains and plains. And 10 days ago, the Wusheng patriarch was defeated, and the Li family was in charge of the county. Dai Wenmao walked out again. It seems that he feels that the Li family is easy to talk, and that he is a general of the imperial court. Not even the slightest bit afraid. You spread the word, let the merchants in the city be more careful when they go out. That said, Patriarch Wusheng may make a comeback at any time. Li Yu said lightly. Talk, just kill it. Anyway, Wusheng patriarch retaliated and entered the 9 horns army, which is also a normal thing. Then he comes out again. The 9-horned army is about the same. Yes, Li Daosu nodded and stepped back. There are 2 heavenly origin low-level meat fields and 9 ordinary meat fields in the county city. Li Yu whispered. This is one of the gains of winning the county. In this way, his Li family has 16 heavenly origin low-level meat farms and 40 ordinary meat farms. However, Li Jiazhen has also been expanding. In addition, the prestige of their Li family is booming now, and it is second to none in the entire Zhujiao. Many practitioners have come here recently. On the established recruiting point, many people come to sign up every day. Li Yu has decided to limit the upper limit of Li Jiazhen to 20,000. In the past, 5,000 people were decided. That's because there is only one Beiyin county. But now, the task is for him to occupy a county. This requires a lot of troops. However, Li Jiazhen is the elite he has settled on. Under this, naturally, there can still be a large number of city defense troops. I heard that the way of the army also has extremely powerful means. It can condense the soul of the army and kill the divine palace great master. But there is no way to condense the soul of the army. I don't know if the other ancestors of the Traversers can get it. He whispered to himself. At this time, the chat interface popped up, and the female patriarch, Qin Wenjun, who had traded twice before, sent a message. Brother Li, I have a heavenly rank high-grade combat martial arts book, do you want it? Heavenly rank top-tier combat martial arts. Li Yu's eyes lit up and she sat up straight. Combat martial arts of this level. He also only has a fragment of the Baoshan seal in his hand. As for the Blood City secret demon Zanpakutao, it actually still belongs to the ground level. But the power is beyond the top grade of the earth rank. But can it be compared to heavenly rank's high-grade combat martial arts? Dash 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 dash. But still in between. As for the Dali Demon Fist, it is the top grade of the ground level, and its power is weaker than that of the blood capital mystic demon Zanpakutao. He naturally desires heavenly rank's top-tier combat martial arts. But this kind of combat martial arts, he had never heard of any power in Yan State. So he wants it. You can only find other traversers. He wrote back without hesitation. This is a heavenly rank high-grade movement method called the 100 Steps of the Wind God, which can be practiced to the extreme and can walk in the sky. And every step you take, you can increase your strength by 1,000th. After 100 steps, your strength will increase by 10%. Qin Wenjun introduced. 38%. Chapter 113. Functions True Intent, Lingdao sect arrives. 5th more. Function 100 steps. Li Yu's eyes sparkled. It turned out to be a body method. And his Li family is currently a. But there is only one skill missing. Moreover, this movement method can actually improve the strength, which is absolutely extremely precious. He was blunt and had traded twice anyway. Price. At the same time, he had to marvel in his heart that the other party's methods were indeed powerful. The last time I got the heavenly rank top grade cultivation technique, Ju Qinghan Hai Ju. This time, he even got heavenly rank top rank combat martial arts. Combat martial arts and cultivation technique, it can't be said which is more precious. One is the foundation of cultivation, and the other is the foundation of improving combat effectiveness. All practitioners are indispensable. This body technique is very strong, and it already belongs to the top level of heavenly rank. I want 2 ordinary meat fields. Qin Wenjun said. Make a deal. Li Yu didn't hesitate at all. To have 2 ordinary meat farms in exchange for such a movement technique would definitely be a huge profit. If it were placed in the country of Yan, those top sects and even court halls, it is absolutely willing to exchange 10 heavenly origin level meat fields. Only in the trade interface can cultivation technique be so cheap. After all, he guessed, Qin Wenjun must not be the only one selling cultivation technique to him. The two quickly completed the transaction. Li Yu took the martial arts secret book in his hand and flipped through it. Nowadays, there is this book, Function 100 Steps. His Li family is truly the initial return to origin. Fist technique has Baoshan Yin and Dali Demon Fist. There is Qisha Yuanyang arrow method in the arrow method. Saber technique has the Blood City Mystic Demon Zanpakudo. There are 100 steps in the body. In time, practice all to return to origin realm. Then it will truly explode with terrifying power. Put it in the vast world. I can also say, the same rank as invincible. 2 days later, Patriarch Wusheng rushed out of the forest and entered the Nine Horns army. Sheng killed Dai Wenmao, the commander of the Nine Horns army, with one palm, and walked away. But he was stopped by the grandfather of the Li family on the way. The two engaged in an intense fight again. In the end, Wusheng Patriarch vomited blood and fled in defeat. Then, the old man of the Li family took over the panic-stricken tens of thousands of Zhujiao troops. 5 days later, Li Daolong, Li Daoyan, Li Zimo, and Li Zixing of the Li family divided their troops into 4 directions. With the speed of thunder and lightning, the other 8 cities in Zhujiao County except Beiyan County were swept away. General Qili of Dianxiangjiao was beheaded by Li Daoyan. The rest of the Dianxiang sect was at the top of Zhujiao County, and those who were killed, and those who fled. The powerful incense teaching suddenly disappeared in Zhujiao County. Then, along the way, the army of the 4 routes swept away the bandit strongholds in the area of Zhujiao. The whole Zhujiao County. Suddenly, the sky seemed to be a little clearer. The common people all felt this change, and they were all grateful to the Li family. Especially the people in the 6 cities under the rule of the Dianxiang sect. He even knelt on the ground and bowed gratefully to Li Daoyan and others who entered the city. Qinzhou State City. Zhoucheng is located in Lintai County. Of the 5 counties in Qinzhou, Lintai County is the richest. At the moment the city center, within the state capital, Fu Zunxiangming, looked gloomy and sat at the head. A state official below was filled with righteous indignation and his face was ugly. Tiger King's general, Qi Lu, also sat beside him, not saying a word. The Li family is a wolf's ambition. To actually occupy Zhujiao County directly, and train soldiers and horses, what is this for? At first, I thought that the old man of the Li family was upright, but I didn't expect him to be a decent person. Suppression. The Li family must be suppressed. After a while, a state official couldn't bear it anymore, stood up and reprimanded. What are you talking about? The Li family has a divine palace great master, are you going to suppress it? Fu Zunxiangming said impatiently. He also wants to suppress. But what to suppress? The divine palace great master of Chaotang is either in the army around the town, or in Kyoto. There is no strong man of this level. How to fight against this level of powerhouse? My lord, I can explain the situation to the master and ask a master to help. A middle-aged man dressed in Taoist robes suddenly exited. As soon as this sentence came out, many people's eyes lit up, looking at them. But Fu Zunxiangming didn't have much joy on his face. He shook his head lightly and said with a wry smile. Mr. Zhao, you don't know that the Li family once took over the Queen Mother's orders. He didn't finish his sentence. But everyone in the hall understood. The middle-aged man dressed in a Taoist robe was also obviously stunned, and stopped talking. Who doesn't know? Is the current Empress Dowager the little sister of Bai Yuguan? If the Li family has contact with the Queen Mother. Or this is simply the Queen Mother's instruction. How could Bai Yuguan make a move? Let's see what the princes of the court think. Shang Ming sighed. For a while the hall was quiet and dull. Reminder. Li Daoyan Taizan was promoted to the 2nd stage, and the cultivation base was promoted to Heavenly Origin 3rd stage. Reminder. Li Zaran's Taizan was promoted to the 2nd stage, and the cultivation base was promoted to Heavenly Origin 3rd stage. Hint. Li Daosu Taizan was promoted to the 2nd level, and the cultivation base was promoted to Heavenly Origin 3rd stage. Hint. Li Daolong Taizan was promoted to the second stage, and the cultivation base was promoted to heavenly origin third stage. Hint. Ding. Your family's martial art. Bao Shanyan observes Baiyu Mountain, feels the ethereal aura, increases proficiency by 50%, promotes to the mastery level, and increases the speed of practice by 100 times. Ding. Your family's martial art. Function 100 steps can feel the breath of the wind, be intoxicated by it, and comprehend the true meaning of function, the true meaning of the earth, and the speed of practice has increased by 200 times. More than a month has passed since I got the function 100 steps again. Li Yu looked at Li Zihan at the end of the cultivation base crane and finally succeeded in advancing to heavenly origin third stage. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Heavenly origin third stage. Although realm is not high, but the strength of everyone in the family is already terrifyingly strong. The physical body plus true chi power all exploded. It can almost reach 160,000 jin. And if he uses the heavenly serpent avatar again, the strength of the physical body has doubled, and the attack power of that body is almost 230,000 catties. It has completely reached the level of a divine palace great master. Cultivation base of third stage martial master. Basic attack power is not weaker than Divine Palace Great Master. And with the combat martial arts learned, suppressing the Divine Palace Great Master once, there is no problem at all. And he has his own strength. Naturally, it also skyrocketed to an astonishing degree. Suddenly, he narrowed his eyes and looked at the distant sky. A ray of light came across the sky from there, with astonishing power, hovering directly above Juzhou County City. The light converges. A beautiful woman with a frosty face was revealed. The beautiful woman was wearing a Taoist robe with snow-white silk threads on the edge of the robe. It looks gorgeous. A white silk and satin danced up and down around the beautiful woman, like a swimming snake, extremely agile. Look from a distance. It's like a fairy in the cloud, overlooking the world. Li Yu looked at each other. The other party is also looking at Li Yu. Li Yu's expression was flat, but the eyes of the beautiful woman were full of murderous intent. But the strange thing is, all the people in the city, but no one found the figure of the beautiful woman. However, Li Daosu and the others faintly sensed it and looked up. But it's just a feeling. Still can't see it. After all, the distance is too far. If it is within 100 meters of them, it will definitely be discovered by them. The true meaning of the three levels is on the body. Cultivation base is just heavenly origin third stage. But with the amount of mental energy. But it is already quite terrifying, even more powerful than the Divine Palace Great Master with 1 turn and 2 turns. Zhou Yuan was killed by you. A cold voice came from the mouth of the beautiful woman above. There was a touch of condescension and ruthlessness in the voice. That's the aloofness of being a spiritual sect person. In the 6-country region, Ling Dao sect is the ruler. Ling Dao sect is the well-deserved number 1. From the perspective of Ling Daozong, the conflict between the 6 countries is just like that. If it is not possible, the Ling Dao sect will select some real geniuses based on the disputes between the 6 countries. With the strength of Ling Dao sect, it is easy to level the other 5 countries. Let Lingguo unify this area. The 6 nations didn't pay attention. A mere Yan Kingdom Divine Palace Great Master whose strength is below the ranking of the 6 countries. As a true disciple of Ling Dao sect, how could he put it in his eyes? Even, it is the enlightened cultivator of the Yan Kingdom, and the beautiful women are not in the eyes. Joke. This enlightened cultivator was born in such a small place. Most of them are promoted by luck. Want magical item without magical item, want resources without resources. How can you compare with her? Not to mention the vulgar warrior Divine Palace. Right. Li Yu nodded slightly. He secretly planned in his heart. If I suddenly strike at this moment, how sure are I that I can kill the opponent directly? But I looked at the distance of Li's. He didn't have much confidence in his mind. The opponent is not only flying in the sky, but also more than 200 meters above the ground. The straight line distance from him is also more than 500 meters. Too far, even if the function 100 steps has reached the mastery level. It is also impossible to cross such a long distance in the air before the other party reacts. You kill yourself. Otherwise, I'll let the whole city be buried with my brother. The beautiful woman's chest heaved twice, coldly said. Now that she's here, nature has already investigated clearly. Asking that sentence is just the final confirmation. Certainly, it didn't matter to her whether she was sure or not. I would rather kill 1,000 by mistake. And let no one go. Anyway, the left and right are just some useless straw people. She doesn't care about killing tens of millions. Although she is not like some brothers in the school. Often kill a large number of straw people to sacrifice the evil magical item. But he also once helped a senior sister harvest straw people in a county. The straw man. Li Yu was stunned. He wondered if he had heard it wrong. Is it the number one Lingdao sect disciple in the Six Kingdoms? Treat the people of the world as straw man, and let him commit suicide directly. Exhausted. 38%. Chapter 114 Crush Kimming Cultivator with one hand. First update. I froze for a moment. Li Yu's complexion became more gloomy than ever. He narrowed his eyes, and there was an uncontrollable killing intent in his eyes. It has been more than half a year since I traveled to this world. Facing the forces of Ocean pirates, Kashanwei, Jing'an Hufu, Dianxiang sect and so on. He was hardly ever angry. But at this time, a wave of anger rose in his heart. Straw man, treat the common people in this world, and the common people, as straw people. He never thought of himself as a nice guy. But neither bad nor good. They all have the word, person. He has always considered himself human. No matter how strong he becomes in the future, he will never forget this. And the disciple of the Lingdao sect above. In his opinion, he is no longer worthy of being a human being. What? Angry. Looking at you, you still want to kill me. The beautiful woman stepped on the flying sword, looked down at Li Yu, and the corner of her mouth curled up playfully. The divine palace great master of this inferior country. Still want to kill her. It's really interesting. Although among the many true disciples of sect, she is not ranked high. But in this outside world, some low-level divine palace great masters with poor martial arts. She can kill at will. You spirit Dao sect, do you all regard the people of this world as straw people? Li Yu made a sound, but her expression calmed down. His voice also formed a line and was directly introduced into the sky. People all over the city can hear it. So you're angry about this? The creatures from the Six Kingdoms are just some materials raised in captivity by my spirit Dao sect. If it's not a straw man, what is it? The beautiful woman laughed. Her laughter was very cold. The wind blows. The cyan Taoist robe rattled. Looking at Li Yu, she didn't have any emotion in 60's eyes, and said coldly. Since you don't kill yourself, then I'll kill you first, and then I'll let this scumbag be buried with my brother. Now, she stands tall in the sky, high above. Just like a god, overlooking the world. Li Yu let out a long breath. He looked at the tall and beautiful woman, and his whole body turned into an afterimage. Leapt out of the yard and flew directly towards the big mountain behind Zhujiao County City. The opponent is Kimming Cultivator. Standing too high again. If you drop a lot of talismans, I'm afraid it will cause astonishing casualties. Now the Zhujiao County City belongs to his Li family. Naturally, this unworthy Lingdao sect disciple could not be allowed to cause any casualties. Want to escape? I really don't know what to say. In front of me, you can go to heaven or go to earth, and you can't escape. The beautiful woman whispered. Call. The flying sword under her feet flashed a cyan aura, swooping down towards Li Yu. At the same time, magic power surged, forming a phantom of a blue spirit bird above his head. Cracking. The phantom of the spirit bird let out a crisp cry, and spread its wings. Directly envelope the beautiful woman. Moment. If the beautiful woman's speed was 20% faster, it would be like a cyan lightning flashing across the sky. But even such an amazing scene. In the city below. Still no one saw it. Only a few members of the Li family watched with frowns. Before, beautiful women were far away. They can only sense that someone is overhead. But the eyes can't see through. But now the beautiful woman directly cast the spell, and the spirit power fluctuated violently. Of course they can see it. CBFC, father is leading her out of town. Li Daoyan said softly, her eyes were full of cold murderous intent. But she also knows. I am now. It is not yet the opponent of Kimming Cultivator. This should be the enlightened cultivator of the Lingdao sect that my father said more than 2 months ago. Li Daosu frowned. He is not worried about his father's safety. With his current strength at full strength, he can suppress the strength of the Divine Palace Great Master. But he still felt that his father was unfathomable, and he was driven to terror. A mere Kimming Cultivator, if it weren't for martial Dao, he wouldn't be able to control the sky. How can you allow the other party to stand in the sky unscrupulously? Several people looked at each other. Leap up on the highest attic and watch from a distance. Li Yu is fast, even if he just used a few points of function 100 steps at will. But with his terrifying physical body and true chi surging like the sea, it still far exceeds the speed of an ordinary Divine Palace Great Master. The air was easily torn by him. The air screeched behind him. This speed, terrible, about 140 meters per second. 17. Li Yu whispered in her heart. This is not his limit speed. His limit speed can be 50% faster. That is nearly 210 meters per second. And if you use the true meaning of function, the speed is at the limit state, and it can be 20% faster. And one turn Divine Palace Great Master 1. The speed is about 100 meters per second. In less than 30 seconds, he rushed out of the county city from the county guard's mansion and entered the forest. After coming here, he stopped directly, stepped on a big tree, and looked at the beautiful woman rushing towards him like a thunderbolt. The opponent's speed is extremely terrifying. Almost reached the level of 160 meters per second. Not as good as his full strength, but it's far better than the usual Divine Palace Great Master. Aren't you running away? Then die. The beautiful woman's face was cold and her eyes were ruthless. She stepped on the flying sword and quietly hovered in the air not far from Li Yu. Dot. The fingertips flickered. A cyan flying sword rushed out of it, spinning in the air. It directly turned into hundreds of flying swords, densely packed, piercing towards Li Yu. The cyan aura filled this small void. The terrifying edge distorts the surroundings, and the flying sword has not yet fallen. The big trees below seemed to be cut by an invisible sharp blade, ordered to break. Li Yu was expressionless. Seeing a large number of flying swords coming, he took a deep breath. Then, blow. Immediately, a large amount of pale gold, containing extremely high temperature terrifying winds swept out. Boom. Those hundreds of flying swords were sucked in by the pale golden wind, and large pieces disappeared. Just for a moment, only a cyan flying sword was left and was carried away by the pale gold wind. There are strands of faint golden flames burning on it. The aura on the cyan flying sword was burned into nothingness at a speed visible to the naked eye. Just breath. This heavenly rank flying sword. It has been turned into scrap iron, and then burned into iron juice by Danjin Shenyan. Puff. The beautiful woman's face turned pale, and she opened her mouth to spit out a mouthful of blood. Her eyeballs were about to pop out, full of horror. How can it be? As soon as she takes out this flying sword, the Divine Palace Great Master will be given the first 4 turns. And the other party, just take a breath. Just destroy the flying sword that I have sacrificed for many years. A gust of cold air rose from the soles of her feet and rushed straight to her forehead. The hairs all over his body stood on end in an instant. The entire scalp was numb as if it was about to split. Her eyes were full of disbelief and disbelief. An uncontrollable fear emerged in my heart. That was something she had long forgotten. After decades, it filled her heart again. Fear, great horror. The other party is not a little Divine Palace Great Master at all, but an extremely powerful Divine Palace Great Master. Escape. Run away now. No matter how strong the cultivator is, if the realm is too different, it will not help. Can you escape? Li Yu's calm voice suddenly sounded from behind her. A hand stretched out like a mountain of 5 fingers. Grab the neck of the beautiful woman. The air is all bursting. The airflow is whistling, sharp and piercing. There is even more light golden true chi forming Shenyan, covering his fingers with a thin layer. So fast. The pupils of the beautiful woman contracted to the size of a needle eye, knowing that this is the moment of life and death. Without hesitation, 3 brilliant rays of light suddenly shot up in front of him. 1 blue, 1 white, 1 golden. Another bead rushed out from the top of her head, hazy like an ocean. An astonishing curtain of light descended, as if the 9 heavens Milky Way had descended. The top is densely packed, with a lot of rune shining. And she herself ignored it, stepped on the flying sword, and fled frantically forward. With an amazing defense, jump to your life directly. Just stand against the opponents this strike. With the advantage of being able to fly, I can definitely escape. For own defense, she still has some confidence. Block the opponent's blow. Absolutely no problem. Damn, this little country of Yan, how can there be such a terrifying practitioner? This strength is definitely a Divine Palace Great Master above rank 7. Beautiful woman gnashing her teeth. As long as she goes back to sect, we will definitely invite the strong sect to come. Destroy this damn practitioner and imprison the soul. Not only the damn practitioner is going to die, The whole family of this person will die. This little country of Yan. What's more, 3 million straw people must be slaughtered in order to relieve the hatred in her heart. As expected of a disciple from Dazong, Li Yu was expressionless. The 5 fingers in the hand met the first layer of blue light on the beautiful woman's body. Silently, this layer is enough to defend against several times of attacks by the 3-turn Divine Palace Great Master, and it shatters like paper. Then 1. The second layer of white defense, the third layer of golden defense. Everything didn't have the slightest effect. Under Li Yu's 5 fingers, it shattered in an instant. Only 1 in 10 can't breathe. His pale gold palms. Then he firmly grasped at the falling silver light curtain. Block me. The beautiful woman's scalp was numb, and she screamed in her heart. At this moment, her hair was all messed up, disheveled, and her face was distorted. She doesn't have the aloof temperament like the fairy in the cloud and the gods of 9 heavens before. See, sparks splash. Li Yu's eyes are like lightning, and her hair is flying. The palm pierced through the silver light curtain directly. 39%. Chapter 115 Imprisoning the Beautiful Woman. Amazing harvest. Second more. Quote. Exclamation mark. The beautiful woman, Bai Huan, screamed. She was full of fear and disbelief. This, water spirit bead. But the self-defense magical item bestowed by her master. The grade has reached the middle grade of heavenly rank. According to reason, even if she can't exert all her power. But it can definitely withstand a blow from the 7th rank Divine Palace Great Master, yes. But it was directly pierced by the opponent. Feeling the pale gold palm rapidly approaching his neck. Dense goosebumps appeared on her neck. Drops of cold sweat. Dripping from her forehead. The whole back is completely wet. The unspeakable fear filled her completely. The magic power all over his body erupted fiercely, forming the cultivator's last resort. Magic power barrier, in front of the neck. Boom. The pale golden palm was covered with a layer of divine flames, carrying a terrifying heat. Just a soft bang. This is a magic power barrier formed by Kiming cultivator's whole body magic power. It was easily crushed. Li Yu, expressionless, grabbed the beautiful woman's neck. There was a stern look in his eyes. The pale golden, Taizan natural divine seal true chi, poured into the opponent's body without hesitation. The arm exploded with terrifying force to the extreme. Slammed the opponent hard to the ground. Looking from the direction of Li Daosu and the others in the distance. You can see. The beautiful woman is like a meteor. Strands of golden flames burst out from her body, her clothes burst into pieces. The whole person twisted and was smashed to the ground from the sky. Boom. The earth trembled. Trees, boulders, and weeds with a radius of hundreds of meters were swept away by a powerful shock wave and exploded. Grandpa is so fierce. Li Zihan, the little girl who returned to the county at some point, clapped her hands excitedly. Tread. Li Yu stepped down from the air step by step. Looking down at the beautiful woman who was smashed into a big pit with a diameter of more than 10 meters, lying on the ground and hiding her breath. With an indifferent face, he said lightly. Is this the strength that you are proud of and regards all beings as straw people? Cough. You can't kill me. My spirit Dao sect strength is far better than yours by 100 times. Kill me, you will never survive, and neither will your family. The beautiful woman, Bai Huan, was lying on the ground, bleeding from her eyes, ears, mouth and nose. Her Dao heart collapsed. Looking at Li Yu's eyes full of fear, she said hysterically. Actually, she still has strength at this moment. But a terrifying coercion emanated from the person in front of him. Squeeze her to the ground, unable to move. She didn't even have the chance to use the communication talisman. Rest assured, I won't kill you for now. There was no fluctuation on Li Yu's face, and her voice was indifferent. You are still useful. Bai Huan was suddenly overjoyed. As long as I cannot die for the time being. When the teacher comes, she will be sure to massacre and kill all the people in front of you. To kill all the straw people in this 1,000-mile radius. Seeing the beautiful woman's relaxed expression, Li Yu chuckled. He pointed it out. It landed directly on the position of the beautiful woman Dantian. Immediately, the light golden true chi poured into the opponent's body again. Turn into wisps of pale golden flames, burning all the magic power in the opponent's body. It even directly destroys the opponent Dantian. Visualize the 3-legged golden crow at the same time. Mental energy is like a heavenly knife, cutting deep in the opponent's mind and soul. Bai Huan let out a shrill scream. Her Dao foundation was destroyed. Her soul was injured, and her cultivation base was directly abolished. You must die. You must die. She cursed wildly, her eyes full of despair. She is useless. Even if Shimon saves her, she will be a useless person from now on. Leave you. It's just to prevent the Lingdao sect from discovering that you are dead so quickly. Li Yu said softly, gently beckons. The only item left on the opponent. A storage bag flew up and landed in his hand. At this time, this disciple from Lingdao sect, Kiming cultivator. It's really clean and slippery, there is nothing on the body, and it can be seen at a glance. It's a pity that Li Yu is not an evil cultivator. If it is an evil cultivator, it might be interesting at this moment. Put him in custody. Ask for some news about Lingdao sect. Looking at Li Daosu and others who leapt from the city, he ordered lightly. The opponent is already immortal, at most the mental energy is slightly stronger. It's easy to lock up. Yes, Li Daosu nodded. A disciple of the great school is a disciple of the great school. The strength is at most twice as strong as the Marquis of Jing'an. But the net worth is too rich. Go back to the sheriff's office. Li Yu opened the storage bag of the beautiful woman, checked it a little, and was pleasantly surprised. Resources here, much more than the Marquis of Jing'an. Don't say anything else. Just that meat field at the level of the Divine Palace is worth terrifying. It is several times higher than the sum of all the wealth in the entire Jing'an Hu mansion. Such a meat field. I searched all over the country of Yan, but I don't know if there is one. The meat field of heavenly origin high rank. It is worth 6.7 billion taels of silver. And this meat field at the level of the Divine Palace. At least it is worth tens of billions of taels of silver. Converted into spirit coins. That is the value of tens of thousands of spirit coins. It is simply not something that an ordinary Divine Palace Great Master, or even a Kiming cultivator can have. Besides, in the storage bag, there are more than 1,000 spirit coins. In a jade box next to it, there is also a khaki-colored heaven and earth spirit stones. There are 13 heavenly rank talismans, and one of them is a heavenly rank middle grade. There are 2 heavenly rank magical items, both of which are heavenly rank low tier items. There are 12 Keeling pills that can be used by the Keeling cultivator. There are dozens of other kinds of elixir and elixir. The contents of the entire storage bag add up. At least the equivalent of 20,000 spirit coins. And counting the heavenly rank middle grade defensive orb. Dash. There are 3,000 more spirit coins. As for why you know such detailed prices. It is because in the storage bag, there is also a booklet of prices of distant birds. Above, the prices of tens of thousands of items are listed. The price of Divine Palace's low-level meat fields is 10,000 ling coins. The price of heaven and earth spirit stones is 5,000 spirit coins. The price of heavenly rank mid-level spirit talisman is 500 spirit coins. The price of heavenly rank low-grade magic talisman is 100 spirit coins. The price of heavenly rank middle grade magical item is 3,000 spirit coins. Heavenly rank lower grade magical item price is 500 spirit coins. The Keeling pill costs 10 spirit coins. The rest of the various elixir and spirit mines also have clearly marked prices. These are the selling prices of distant birds. If you want to sell it to distant bird, then the price is 20% off. Distant birds, Li Yu whispered, and his eyes were full of surprise. In this world, there is such a magical race. According to the introduction in the brochure, the remote bird is extremely huge, spreading its wings for more than 10 kilometers, like an island. There will be a shop on it. There will be traveling merchants in the shops. There are all kinds of wonders inside, as long as there are spirit coins. Everything can be bought and everything can be acquired. And there is a reminder in the booklet, asking for flowers. Don't do anything to the merchants who travel far away, otherwise you will be in trouble. Nomadic birds roam the vast world, and there are many of them. Occasionally come to their area. Moreover, the pricing of distant merchants is extremely fair. So, the pricing in many areas is based on the standards of traveling merchants. Therefore, only the Lingdao sect will send a copy of Prices of Distant Birds to the true disciples. It is convenient for the disciples under the sect, and sometimes they need to go to the 9 True Spirit Realm. Where is the 9 True Spirit Realm? There was a hint of doubt in his eyes. But read between the lines. The Lingdao sect also seems to have great respect for this 9 True Spirit Realm. Obviously, that's not an easy place. Leave Bai Huan alive. Ling Daozong wouldn't have found out about Bai Huan so quickly. He pressed other things in his heart and thought about this matter. The system sets Lingdao sect as a hostile force. Then hiding is absolutely impossible. However, the general trend does not change, but the small trend can change. Such as procrastination. After all, Lingdaozong is a sect of cultivating immortals. And he read those novels before time travel. An important disciple of Shushan sect died. Either there is a soul lamp, or there is a whim crime committed by a strong person who is closely related. That's why he didn't kill Bai Huan for the time being. Certainly, paper can't contain fire, but how long it can be delayed is good. Not long. Li Daosu came from outside, and after saluting, he smiled wryly and said, "Father, this person is a bit out of his mind. He just kept cursing and couldn't find any useful information. Forget about it. Let's collect some information about Lingdao sect outside." Li Yu frowned. He knew that it had something to do with his visualization with mental energy, the slash that severely injured the opponent's soul. But without cutting that knife. With the terrifying amount of mental energy of enlightened cultivator. Want to lock up? It is too difficult. Yes. Li Daosu nodded and stepped back. The next day, Li Yu just woke up when a message popped up. Ding. Your family's martial art, Baoshan Huayan, has sensed the same kind of aura on Baiyu Mountain. If you want to go and see it, if you don't meet his requirements, he will be very depressed and his cultivation speed will be reduced by 50 times. Quote? Li Yu was stunned. Black lines appeared on his forehead. That's okay too. If you don't meet the requirements, you will feel depressed and slow down your practice speed. What the hell? Now the speed of practicing Baoshanyan has been increased to 100 times with great difficulty. You are not happy this time. About to strike in half. He was speechless. This is too pitiful to the ancestors. But the smell of the same kind. What is that? Could it be a fist technique? Or, is it another remnant copy of the Baoshan seal? His eyes flashed, and he had some guesses in his heart. Since I have to go. Then he is not a sloppy character. After one day, the towering Baiyu Mountain had already appeared in front of his eyes. But a rampant and very familiar voice came from the mountain. Ha ha ha, my Wusheng patriarch can't drive your Baiyu temple, why don't you send all the beautiful young female disciples? It's an honor for the ancestors to see them. Hear this wild laugh. Li Yu was stunned. Is this someone pretending to be own best? To do bad things to let yourself be blamed? Any more morals? 39%. Chapter 116 Empress Dowager by Qingling, Water Curtain Cave. Third change. At the foot of Mount Baiyu, inside an immortal cave. Li Ziran came out in astonishment, looking in the direction of Baiyu Guan. Baiyu Mountain is very big. Although Baiyu Guan has many disciples. But still unable to surround the entire Baiyu temple. This grandpa. Grandpa actually came to Baiyu temple to ask for a young female disciple. There was a stunned look on his face. But in the blink of an eye, he felt something was wrong. Although this voice claims to be Wusheng Patriarch. But, how could Grandpa do such a thing? If it's not Grandpa, then someone pretends to be Wusheng Patriarch. Think here. He was even more dazed. Grandpa's casually fabricated identity. Has someone pretended to be it? Good guy. This is really a good guy. He quickly turned into an afterimage, and went towards Baiyu Guan. He would like to see it. Who is so bold that he dared to pretend to be the incarnation of his grandfather, the Wusheng Patriarch? It's just not close. A roar suddenly came from Baiyu Temple, carrying terrifying true energy. Presumptuous. My Baiyu view is that you and other evil heretics can run wild. The sound is terrible. Birds and beasts are frightened, branches tremble. Ha ha ha. Just turn to Divine Palace Great Master, and dare to be arrogant in front of my ancestor. The wild laughter sounded again. 3, 3, 7. At this moment, Li Ziran could already see Baiyu Guanyi in the distance. On the huge Baiyu square in front of Baiyu Temple. A large number of Baiyu Temple disciples gathered, holding long swords and gathered into two huge formations. An astonishing aura swept through. The majestic blood chi soars to the sky. Two formations, one on the left and one on the right. Cover the figure in the middle with a strange mask, a black robe, and a cold breath. With his hands behind his back, this figure was sinister and cold, with the aura of an evil great master. Outside the two huge formations, an old man with white hair and beard held a sword, his eyes were cold. True energy surged behind him. A scarlet thunderbolt was formed. Twisted and meandering, as if going straight out, God will punish the world. What a strong breath. Li Ziran looked at the Wusheng Patriarch, and felt deeply in his heart. He thinks, Even if I use the heavenly serpent avatar, I guess I am no match for this person. All to the ancestors to die. Old ancestor Wushang sneered sinisterly. The right hand is stretched out, the 5 fingers are like a mountain, and the strange black true essence seems to turn into a black ocean, drowning everything. Bang! The 2 huge formations formed by Bai Yu Guan cultivator and practitioner instantly shattered. A Bai Yu Guan disciple's complexion changed drastically, and he coughed up blood and flew backwards. This scene make the pupils of the white-haired and bearded Bai Yu Guan Divine Palace Great Master shrink tightly. There was a look of horror on his face. It never occurred to him. The strength of this Wushang patriarch is actually so terrifying. Didn't the younger brother who came back from Zhujiao County say, should the opponent just turn Divine Palace Great Master once? But look at the terrifying power that erupted in front of you. Where is a turn Divine Palace Great Master? It's clearly the 3-turn Divine Palace Great Master. But even knowing that he is not an opponent, at this moment, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and rush forward. Boom! The long sword in his hand burst out with a light of about 10 feet, like a thunderbolt. With an astonishing afterimage, he slashed towards the Wushang patriarch. Senior Brother Pan, I'll help you. At this moment, from the depths of the White Feather Temple, a middle-aged Taoist nun walked out. The Taoist nun has sharp eyes, steps on the flying sword. Wave lightly. Suddenly, 12 flying swords appeared above the head. Every flying sword is extremely fierce. Form a sword array. Vastly, it fell towards the old ancestor Wushang. Is there no one in the White Feather Temple? 1-turn Divine Palace Great Master, 1-turn Foundation Establishment Great Return to Origin. You also want to block the ancestor devilish prestige. Go to hell, old ancestor Wushang said coldly. He moved. Too fast, too fast. With one claw, he knocked the long sword away from Brother Nappan's hand. Another claw imprinted on the opponent's chest like thunder and lightning, directly knocking this 1-turn Divine Palace Great Master flying and vomiting blood. Then, old ancestor Wushang looked at the falling sword array. The whole person soared into the sky, his legs turned into afterimages, and kicked all the flying swords away. Man in the air, take a sudden turn. Like a goshawk jumping at a rabbit, he rushed straight to the middle-aged Taoist nun. The strength is not bad. Among the mountains and forests in the distance, Li Yu put her hands behind her back, a little surprised. This guy who pretended to be his own best is much stronger than Jing'an Hu. Although not as good as Bai Huan, a disciple of Lingdao sect 2 days ago. But if Bai Huan wants to kill him, it won't be too easy. It is compared with the leader of the Dianxiang sect, Situ Busan, whom he met back then. Probably not too bad. Puff. The defense that lit up in front of the middle-aged Taoist nun was torn apart by the Wushang patriarch. A palm was printed on the chest trembled wildly, and the whole person flew out, vomiting blood. The whole square, all the disciples of Bai Yu Guan were terrified and retreated again and again. Lifeless patriarch devilish prestige flourishes, terrifying to the heavens. Enough. But at this moment, a red light rushed from the depths of Bai Yu Temple like a dragon leaping. Hovering directly in the air, a figure of a middle-aged man stepping on a flying sword was revealed, with an expressionless face. The middle-aged man's body was slightly pale. The face is handsome, but it looks extremely cold and majestic. She was dressed in a white Taoist robe with cloud patterns inlaid on the edge, which was extremely gorgeous. There is also a crimson flying sword flying up and down around him, and the sharp breath is simply chilling. You say enough is enough. Today, Patriarch, I will destroy your Bai Yu temple. I saw the figure of a middle-aged man. The eyes of the Wushang Patriarch suddenly revealed astonishing hatred. And even for that, his voice was faintly out of tune, no longer like Wushang Patriarch. Woman. Li Yu's eyes moved, a little surprised. But how sensitive is he? The other party's voice was slightly out of tune, and he recognized that it was a woman's voice. Sudden, he turned his eyes and looked at Bai Yu Guanshan. There are a bunch of people from the imperial court rushing out of the forest and heading towards Bai Yu Guan. Everyone is a martial master. There are at least 200 martial masters. There are more than a dozen foundation establishment cultivators. This person who pretends to be his best is a member of the imperial court. Is this the court's plan to attack Bai Yu Guan? He was a little taken aback. Why did the imperial court suddenly take action against a top school like Bai Yu Guan? Bai Qingling, you really want to destroy my Bai Yu Taoism? Don't forget, you are also a member of my Bai family. Li Yu saw the court troops down the mountain. The middle-aged man with the flying sword naturally also saw it. There was also a touch of coldness on the expressionless face, and he scolded. Bai Qingling. Li Yu was even more stunned. He carefully looked at the Wusheng patriarch, pretending to be his best. It's actually the Empress Dowager, Bai Qingling. The Empress Dowager actually wants to attack Bai Yuguan. And it looks like this Empress Dowager is full of hatred for the head of Bai Yuguan. The original family turned against each other. His eyes showed interest. This is definitely the largest 8 trigrams in Yan Kingdom. At the same time, he also had doubts in his heart. Surname Bai. Does this have anything to do with the Ling Dao sect disciple, Bai Huan, who has already been scooped up by him? After all, this surname is rare. By 9th stage, you know what you have done. Old ancestor Wusheng said with hatred. She waved lightly. A long sword appeared in her hand. The long sword is light and agile, with a faint cyan aura, surrounded by a large number of tiny wind blades, tearing the airflow. Without hesitation, she exerted all her strength on her legs, and her whole body turned into an afterimage. Dash, soaring directly into the sky, towards the head of Bai Yuguan by 9th stage, in the midair to kill. You want to die. I will fulfill you. By 9th stage's voice was icy cold, and his head of black hair was flying. He stepped on the flying sword and pointed lightly. Immediately behind 100 sword ray. Each sword ray is as red as fire, with a hot breath. The next moment, all sword rays pierced down and shot at the natural group. Boom! The two fought frantically in the sky above Bai Yuguan. Sword chi collides with sword ray. Magic treasures versus weapons. The talisman was kicked to pieces. Kill. And below. People from the imperial court also rushed to Bai Yu Temple. Everyone is a good player, and they are good at fighting. A disciple of Bai Yu Temple was beheaded and fell to the ground in a pool of blood. How daring! Brother Pan wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth with the middle-aged Taoist nun, furious. Regardless of their injuries, the two directly rushed towards the court troops. But among the people in the imperial court, 2 cultivators from the 8th floor of Foundation establishment were also killed. Colliding directly with 2 people is not weak. Tisk tisk tisk. I actually saw such a good show. Li Yu was a little surprised. He looked at Bai 9th stage and Bai Qingling in the air. Both of them are equal in strength, and it is not known who will win. If the Queen Mother wins, I am afraid that Bai Yuguan will be removed from the list today. But that has nothing to do with him. He turned his eyes and looked at Li Ziran, who was hiding in the distance watching the battle. As soon as he moved his footsteps, he stood silently behind Li Ziran. Cough cough. He coughed. 1.6 inches who? Li Ziran was shocked, turned around suddenly, and was about to punch him. But after seeing clearly that his grandfather was behind him, immediately he breathed a sigh of relief. His clothes were all wet. Grandpa, don't you know that Taoist is scary and can scare people to death? He complained. You are too vigilant. Come on, follow me to a place. Li Yu smiled. The two turned east and west. Under the vague guidance of the Baoshan seal. Finally came to the depths of Baiyu Mountain, a hidden valley. In this valley, there is a waterfall and a deep pool. Behind the waterfall, Li Yu looked at the white rushing waterfall, a little dazed. What the hell? It's like the water curtain cave. And it seems that someone has been sensed. In the deep pool, water splashes exploded, and a figure rushed up. The figure didn't pause at all, and with a push with both hands, it seemed to push something towards Li Yu and the other two. Faintly, Li Yu saw a 2-story mountain peak coming. The peak is exactly what Mount Baiyu looks like. With a shocking, terrifying power, the air violently exploded. Baoshan seal. With a flash in Li Yu's eyes, she said in shock. 39%. Chapter 117 Conquering the Zon Ape, Baoshan Yin completes it. Fourth more. Although the mountain peak that hits is not high, it is also extremely illusory. But there are towering ancient trees above, monkeys crowing and tigers roaring, and silver-white waterfalls hanging high. But they are all alive. As if it was a real mountain peak, it was directly pushed over. What kind of terrifying power is this? Just that majestic and terrifying aura is enough to make the Divine Palace Great Master terrified. What a powerful Baoshan seal! Li Ziran exclaimed. He also practiced Baoshanyan, and reached the mastery level. But it can't make such a phantom of the mountain. The opponent's comprehension on Baoshan seal is much stronger than him. This is a terrifying scene that only Shaocheng realm can play. Boom. Li Yu's face was a little dignified, without any hesitation. Also punch out with Baoshan seal. On his fist, true qi surged, outlining the shape of a mountain peak. Behind him, true qi and blood erupted, and a monster stood on the ground, followed by a punch. This is the true meaning of Dali Demon Fist. He drives Baoshan Yin with the true intention of the demon. Although the Baoshan seal has become a little more bewitching, its power is also a little bit stronger. The true meaning of martial Dao. It's not just that it can only shock the soul. It can also enhance the power of combat martial arts. It's a pity that the Baoshan seal is not strong enough, and I haven't realized the true meaning of martial Dao in Baoshan seal. Otherwise, the power of his punch must be far stronger than being driven by the demon's true intentions. So it also caused the same Baoshan seal, although it looks majestic. But compared with the phantom of a mountain peak directly bombarded by the opponent, it looks a lot worse. 21. But the strength of one person. It never just depends on the mastery of combat martial arts. It also depends on the strength of the individual. Bang! When the fist collided with the phantom of the mountain, it was like a thunderclap. Li Yu suddenly felt a powerful force rebound back. But that mountain peak is phantom. He was also smashed by a punch. The figure that jumped up from the lake even flew backwards. Apparently, the opponent's strength is far inferior to him. Roar! The figure stepped on the mountain wall behind the waterfall. Staring at Li Yu firmly, let out a roar. It turned out to be a golden-haired ape. The arms are slender, the muscles are knotted, and the shadows of the mountain seem to be reflected in the eyes. The majestic blood qi rushed up behind it, condensing into a mountain peak, toweringly, making one's heart tremble. The momentum is strong, far more powerful than Bai 9th stage and Bai Qingling who are fighting in Bai Yuguan. It's just that it's a little far away from Bai Yu Temple. Obviously, it is impossible for the other party to sense it. What a handsome ape! Li Yu's eyes lit up. He didn't hesitate. He rushed out with big strides, stepped directly on the pool water, and splashed water all over the sky. Just in the blink of an eye, he stood in front of the golden ape and punched out again. Ho ho! The golden ape is angry. Surrounded by both hands, a phantom of a mountain emerges from nothing. Then he was pushed hard by him and crashed into Li Yu. Boom! The phantom of the mountain was shattered by a punch again. The golden ape roared and punched out. The image of the mountain peak condensed on the fist is much clearer than the mountain peak on Li Yu's fist. Ha ha ha! Well done! Li Yu laughed loudly, using only half of his strength, and kept fighting with the golden ape. The nearby rocks exploded, the pond water exploded, and the trees collapsed. Even the waterfall next to it was interrupted, as if it was about to go against the current. Ding! Your family's martial arts. Baoshanyan collided with another Baoshanyan constantly, and the inspiration in your heart continued, and finally reached the peak at a certain moment, increasing the proficiency by 50%, and increasing the speed of practice by 150 times. I saw the long-awaited message finally popped up. Li Yu was overjoyed. No more reservations. One punch sent the golden ape flying, because of the mouth. He didn't stop at all. Like a shadow, following in front of the flying golden ape. Punch after punch, non-stop. The golden ape roared again and kept resisting, but it couldn't stop it at all. He vomited blood non-stop in his mouth, and was flying non-stop. Just for a moment, it can't hold on. Lying on the ground, she made a woo-woo sound, begging for mercy towards Li Yu. Li Yu stopped. There was a strange look on his face. Flip the right hand. A bloody ring appeared on his hand. There are a large number of runes on the surface of the ring, which are densely packed and extremely mysterious. It is one of the 2 heavenly rank low-rank magical items in the storage bag of Lingdao sect disciple, Bai Huan. Beast Guard Ring. A beast that can drive the highest divine palace 3rd stage realm. As long as it is controlled by the beast ring. Then even if the cultivation base is promoted above the divine palace 4th stage, it is impossible to break through the restrictions. Unless the cultivation base breaks through the divine palace realm and reaches above the divine palace. And the golden ape in front of him. The battle strength is extremely strong, and he has mastered the Baoshan seal of Shaocheng level. The strength is absolutely comparable to the Divine Palace Great Master of the 4th or even 5th rank realm. But cultivation base. But it's only at the level of the 2nd rank of Divine Palace Great Master. It is completely within the control range of the Beast Ring. Seeing the Beast Ring on Li Yu's hand. Although I don't know what it is. But the golden ape still felt a wave of fear. But under Li Yu's eyes, he didn't dare to resist at all, and obediently let Li Yu put it around his neck. Call. The bloody light flickered. The beast ring disappeared immediately. But the golden ape felt that own soul seemed to be put on a layer of shackles. This beast ring is really easy to use. Li Yu praised. This is one of the few magical items that their practitioners can also use. As long as you recognize the Lord with a drop of blood, you will be fine. At this time, he just felt it. As long as I have a thought, I can control the beast control ring that has penetrated into the soul of the golden ape. Let this golden ape life be worse than death. Even if the beast ring is allowed to self-destruct directly. So, the soul of this golden ape will also be directly blasted to pieces. It's worth the trip to Golden Retriever War Ape, alone. He was very satisfied. Golden Retriever War Ape. This is an extremely terrifying alien beast, just like the alien beast Sky Snake. They are no longer ordinary beasts. It's a legacy. Ancient relics. Certainly, neither the Sky Snake nor the Golden Retriever War Ape are pure-blooded ancient relics. Just some bloodline. If it is a pure-blooded ancient relic, that would be terrifying. Adulthood is far beyond what Divine Palace realm can compare. Grandpa, have you subdued it? Li Ziran walked over and looked curiously at the Golden Retriever War Ape in front of him. He was extremely amazed at the strength of this Golden Retriever War Ape. Too strong, he felt himself. At least one has to advance to the third stage cultivation base to compete with the opponent. Li Yu nodded. This Golden Retriever War Ape is quite talented, and he has actually mastered Xiaocheng Realm's Baoshan Seal, which is even more human. It can become a family war beast. After speaking, he looked towards the waterfall ahead. Seeing his gaze, the Golden Retriever War Ape suddenly seemed to understand something. Ho ho ho. He yelled twice, endured the pain all over his body, jumped up, rushed into the waterfall, and disappeared. Go and follow, Li Yu said. He knew that the Golden Retriever War Ape was leading them. Bang bang. Water splashes from the waterfall. Li Yu and the two were no longer there. I occasionally got Baoshan printed fragments, Insight 100 Year, and finally Great Completion. It's a pity that my lifespan is short, and I came to this mountain to sit and melt away after leaving behind the mundane affairs. I watched this mountain for 100 years, and then let Baoshan print Great Completion. I have a predestined relationship with this mountain, so I left the Baoshan seal, in my opinion, engraved on the stone wall, and left it for the predestined relationship. Li Yu looked at the handwriting on the stone wall and read silently. These writings, both are very old. Obviously this unknown senior has been sitting here for a long time. Maybe it's not a matter of this 100 year. Subsequently, both he and Li Ziran looked at the stone wall to the side. There are densely packed. The 400 is engraved with a set of fist technique. It is Baoshanyan, and it is completely different from the Baoshan seal mastered by Li Yu. Ding. Your family's martial art, Baoshanyan, is full of talents. You can observe the same kind on the stone wall, complement yourself, and evolve from the main form of running mountain seal to the 10 styles of Baoshan seal, spirit rank top grade. Ding. Your family's martial arts, Baoshanyan, observes other people's perceptions and insights, and what you get in your heart, you will be very happy, your proficiency will increase by 50%, and your practice speed will increase by 200 times. Boom. With 2 messages popping up. A lot of information about Baoshanyan suddenly appeared in Li Yu's mind. In addition to the original 3 formulas, there are 3 more styles again. Moreover, the level of mastery is directly from the mastery level, breaking through to the Xiaocheng level. Directly let Baoshan Yin become the strongest combat martial arts in his hands. Even the Great Completion realm's Blood City Mystic Demons and Pakudo. Everything is worse. And, it's not just that he has mastered Xiaocheng's Baoshan seal. All the rest of the family, they are all the same as him. The degree of mastery of Baoshan seal has directly reached Xiaocheng. With the eldest son Li Daosu at full strength, then use Xiaocheng's Baoshan seal. It can be completely compared with the second-rank Divine Palace Great Master, and suppresses the first-rank Divine Palace Great Master. Such a terrifying strength speaks out. No one dared to believe it. Cultivation base of heavenly origin 3rd stage. Slay the Divine Palace Great Master. Ha ha ha. This trip is worthwhile. Li Yu laughed out loud in her heart, filled with joy. F82, hash. He felt that his current strength, probably ready to suppress the 9 cycles Divine Palace Great Master. It is the horror of the ancestors of the Traversers. Gather the strength of future generations in one body. He can't even imagine. Wait for the children's cultivation base to reach the 9th stage Martial Master. Even after being promoted to Divine Palace Great Master. How terrifying would he be with all his strength? 40%. Chapter 118 Subdue the Empress Dowager. Fifth more. Li Yu has already tested it. His current physical strength is about 470,000 jin. And Taizan, who is as majestic as the sea, is born with the god of God true qi. It even has an attack power of about 650,000 jin. Add up. It has exceeded 1 million caddies, reaching more than 1.1 million caddies. Then cooperate with Xiaocheng to hold the mountain seal. It can almost increase the attack power by about 50%. That is more than 1.6 million caddies of attack power. And an ordinary turn Divine Palace Great Master. The attack power is about 200,000 caddies to 300,000 caddies. Even 9 cycles Divine Palace Great Master. It is also difficult for the attack power to reach such a terrifying level. So, he was able to suppress Ling Dao sect disciple, Bai Huan, so easily. Only with half the strength, he can kill the golden retriever war ape, the boudoir remnant. If Bao Shenyan can be promoted to great completion, that should also increase the attack power by 20%. Li Yu whispered in her heart, looking forward to it very much. There are thousands of fighting martial arts in the world. But to judge the strength, then the easiest way is to see how much attack power the user can increase. Small into layers. If it can be improved by 20%, it can be regarded as a top-rank martial art. If it can increase by 30%, it is heavenly rank high-grade martial arts. If it can be improved by about 45%, it is a high-grade martial arts with spirit rank. And Bao Shanyan now completes the part, but in the end it is still a remnant of a terrifying secret technique. Although the grade is at the top of spirit rank. But in fact, it is even stronger. He looked at the fragment of the Baoshan seal on the wall. I pondered a little in my heart. Gently wave your hand and destroy it all. Now that Bao Shenyan has become the strongest martial art of his Li family, then it shouldn't be here. The golden retriever war ape was taken away by him. It is estimated that it will not be long before it will be discovered by Bai. Certainly, that means the White Feather Temple has not been destroyed. Glancing at Li Ziran, who was still in the midst of comprehension, he didn't bother. Li Ziran still has some talents in fist technique. Maybe one. What can be improved this time? After all, Bao Shanyan is now practicing 200 times faster. He walked out with the golden retriever war ape. The cave is actually quite deep. It is at least over 1,000 meters long, and it is twisted and winding, and it is unknown what kind of creature opened it up. Just out of the falls though. A look of astonishment appeared in Li Yu's eyes, and she looked at the edge of the pool in front of her. There were 2 figures lying on a pool of blood. One of them has lost all breath. It is Bai 9th stage, the master of Bai Yu Guan. The other one still had some breath, but it was also injured so badly that it couldn't even move. Li Yu didn't expect anyone. So there is no hidden breath. Bai Qingling, who was lying on the ground and was still alive, naturally also sensed it. She turned around with difficulty. At this time, the mask on his face was broken. There was a pale but extremely beautiful face, with a temperament that I still feel pity for. Seeing the golden retriever war ape, she was stunned for a moment, and then said excitedly, Ajin, do you remember me? When I was in Baiyuguan, I used to throw exotic animal meat to you. At the same time, she looked at Li Yu extremely vigilantly and struggled to sit up. But he was still coughing up blood incessantly, staining the black robe on his body red. Ho ho ho, the golden retriever war ape barked, as if he really knew Bai Qingling. Go and play first, Li Yu ordered. The golden retriever war ape resisted somewhat, but obediently jumped up and disappeared. Who are you? Why would Ah Jin listen to you? Bai Qingling's pupils contracted and said in shock. She will be here. In fact, he fought with Bai 9th stage to the end, trying to use the power of the golden retriever war ape. After all, she was somewhat familiar with the golden retriever war ape before. The other party saw her. Willing to help if I think about it. And with the terrifying strength of golden retriever war ape, it can completely help her kill Bai 9th stage. But I didn't expect. After coming here. But he didn't see the golden retriever war ape. But it's okay. Is she the Empress Dowager with a lot of cards, or is she fighting the White 9th stage to death? But she was also seriously injured by 9th stage and almost died. But at this time, he found out. In her heart, the terrifying golden retriever war ape. Will you obey the orders of the person in front of you? This shocked her heart. Introduce yourself. Old man Li Yu from the Li family of Jujiao County. Not long ago, I received the Queen Mother's order. Li Yu looked at the Empress Dowager Bai Qingling in front of her, a strange look flashed in her eyes. The Queen Mother is in her 30s. But she still looks like a young girl, and she really deserves to be the Empress Dowager who has the Emperor's resources. Li Yu, the patriarch of the Li family. You're not dead. Empress Dowager Bai Qingling's delicate body shook, and she blurted out. But as soon as she finished speaking, she regretted it. She knew that she was hurt too badly, and her spirit was traumatized, and the group would say things she shouldn't have said. Li Yu squinted her eyes and looked at the Empress Dowager Bai Qingling who was sitting on the ground. Not dead. What does this sentence mean? Could it be that in the Queen Mother's heart, she is already a dead person? Almost instantly, he thought of that Lingdao sect disciple, Bai Huan. The same surname Bai. The Empress Dowager in front of her had this reaction again. These two. It must be related. Even, Bai Huan was able to come from Lingdao sect so quickly, and he also confirmed that Jing'anho Zhou Yuan was killed by him. It may be the help of the Empress Dowager in front of me. Do you know Bai Huan? With a movement of his body, he stood in front of the Empress Dowager Bai Qingling, looking down at her. The voice is calm, without any waves. Even if the Queen Mother in front of him is extremely beautiful, it can't make his mood fluctuate much. What Bai Huan? Who is this Mr. Li is talking about? She is worthy of being the Queen Mother of one dynasty. In a blink of an eye, Bai Qingling showed a look of pity on his face, and said doubtfully. A pair of eyes looked extremely curious, like a girl who was out of harmony with the world. Have no idea. Li Yu's expression was strange. He suddenly raised his hand, and the blue true chi surged in his palm, hitting Bai Qingling directly on the forehead. I know. Bai Qingling screamed in fright, her face turned pale. Call. The palm containing the amazing blue true chi hovered half an inch in front of her forehead. The palm wind blows. It blows her 3,000 black hairs to fly backwards. Explain. Li Yu was expressionless. Bai Yu Guan is actually in charge of the sect, and is actually from the Bai family of the Lingdao sect. Strictly speaking, Bai Huan is still my aunt. I met once before, and we left each other with a talisman of communication. She used the Bai family's relationship to investigate Zhou Yuan's news. I happen to know that Zhou Yuan, the Marquis of Jing'an, was the one Bai Huan was looking for, so I told her the news. Bai Qingling didn't dare to hide anything, so she told everything. She really sensed the murderous intent. Obviously, the ancestor of the Li family didn't care about her identity at all. If she dared to hide something, the other party would really kill her. I see. It's no wonder Bai Huan came here after more than 2 months. Li Yu was stunned. At the same time, he shook his head a little bit about his own luck. Want to come. If it weren't for the Queen Mother in front of me. It may take a month or 2, or even longer, for Bai Huan to find him. After all, the region of the 6 nations is not small. Although Lingdao sect is high above. But Zhou Yuan is not in the spiritual country. Instead, it was in the country of Yan, which was separated from the country of Ling. Bai Huan wanted to find someone again. The following specific investigation personnel are just ordinary practitioners, how fast can they be? From the investigation of Lingguo to Yangguo, a few months must have passed. But as a former member of Lingdao sect, the whereabouts of Zhou Yuan's foundation establishment, return to origin, have not been recorded by the Lingdao sect at all. He was also a little speechless. It can be seen from this that Lingdao sect is powerful and superior. Looking at the Queen Mother with a lovely and pitiful look in front of her. There was still no expression on his face. Flip the right hand. A ring somewhat similar to the ring of beasts appeared out of thin air in his hand. This ring is also blood-colored, with dense text on it. This is a very evil magical item. Slave ring. Being able to treat people as alien beasts and directly enslave them. Seeing the ring on Li Yu's hand, Empress Dowager Bai Qingling's delicate body trembled, her eyes were full of fear, and she said in despair. Slave ring. Their white feather temple has something to do with Lingdao sect. Naturally know this famous, evil magical item from Lingdao sect. But never thought about it. Someday, I would actually see Nuhuan appearing in front of me. I give you a choice. Put on this magical item, or I'll kill you. Li Yu said calmly, if the other party is willing to surrender. Then there is such a Queen Mother in hand. It was of great help to him. The power of the Yan state court is still very strong. And he guessed. Now the task given by the system. It is to occupy the land of a county for more than 3 months. But what about the next task? He thinks. 78 out of 10 honors occupy a state. In the future, It may be to occupy the land of a country. On the reminder panel, on the top, there are 16 characters written. Develop the family, condense chi gathering luck, ascend to 9 heavens, live forever. And I occupy the county seat, occupying the land of a county. The value of luck on the family panel will rise sharply. This means luck is related to the territory you occupy. He already had a clear understanding in his heart. Although it is not clear what effect luck has. But obviously, in the information given by this system, family and luck should be the two most important things. Develop family, condensation chi gathering luck. From this it is possible to board the 9 heavens and live forever. Quote. Don't even think about it. Even if I die, I can't serve you as Lord. The Queen Mother stared at Li Yu, her chest heaved, and she said angrily. Her gaze was fierce, as if she wanted to swallow Li Yu alive. That would be a pity. Li Yu shook her head and raised her palm. Quote. Quote. Empress Dowager Bai Qingling yelled and shrank her neck. She held out her right hand. He took the slave ring from Li Yu's hand, closed his eyes and put it on his neck. Well, Li Yu was speechless. 40%. Chapter 119. The Great Event of Inheriting the Family Part 1. Li Ziran had been immersed in the feeling for 2 days and 2 nights before waking up. Li Yu sensed it clearly. My own grasp of Baoshanyan has become much stronger. This made him very satisfied. He patted his third grandson on the shoulder, and said earnestly. Cultivate hard, strive to raise Baoshanyan to great completion realm as soon as possible. Grandpa, don't worry, Li Ziran nodded solemnly. Take away all the meat fields owned by Baiyu Temple. Li Yu didn't linger in the slightest. Leave Baiyu Mountain directly and return to Jujiao County City. As for Li Ziran, naturally, I continued to travel around the mountains and rivers. Empress Dowager Bai Qingling. After flattening the Baiyu Temple, he went back to the capital directly. Want to come, with the power and influence of trampling Baiyu Guan. It is enough to win the support of more ministers and more power in the court. It's also interesting. This Bai 9th stage is actually Bai Qingling's real brother. Jujiao County City, Li Family Hall. Li Yu drank the tea in his hand, with a strange expression on his face. According to what Bai Qingling said, then, Bai 9th stage in order to get the support of the court. So she was sent to the palace as a concubine. But Bai Qingling is also a powerful person, and at that time, he had some contact with Bai Huan again. Actually maintained a perfect body in the palace. Moreover, he also adopted a prince who was born by a dead concubine into his own name. That is, the current king of Yan. But for the matter that Bai 9th stage sent her into the palace back then. Bai Qingling was very resentful. Plus character is a must for Yazi. So, with the huge resources in the palace, she has achieved success in practice, and has become the queen mother in name of the world. Naturally, revenge is necessary. Baiyu Guanshu 100-year foundation. With the hard work of the 2 brothers and sisters, the game was over. Father, 3 brothers and sisters Li Daosu, Li Daolong, and Li Daoyan came from outside and saluted. Sit down. Li Yu put down the teacup in her hand and smiled. The 3 sat down. How is the Li family army? Li Yu looked at her daughter Li Daoyan. Ever since I learned about the organization of merchants who can buy all kinds of treasures like far-traveling bird. He has an idea. I want to buy a copy of the method of training the army and condensing the soul of the army. He had a hunch. From now on, the army will be a very important part of the task of the system. After all, after completing the task of controlling a county last time. Rewards given by the system. But armaments. This is what it means to strengthen the strength of the army in his hand. So these hours, he also paid a lot of attention to Li Jiazhen. A steady stream of 1. Send some soldiers whose loyalty is above 80 to closed training. Nowadays, soldiers in closed training, it has reached more than 900 people. Each of them enjoys 10 times the speed of practice of 13 Taibao Henglian, and 5 tigers breaking door knife. But this is still not enough. He needs more loyal soldiers. Some soldiers were selected from Jujiao County, and now the number has expanded to more than 8,000. About a month later, it can recruit 20,000 people. Li Deyan said softly. After a pause, she glanced at her father, and continued. After the recruitment is full, the monthly payment needs to be about 60,000 taels, depending on the animal meat. It needs to consume about 25,000 caddies per day. Li Yu knocked on the armrest of the teacher's chair, and said. Tomorrow, you will lead your army to Mengjiang County and wipe out all the incense teachings in Mengjiang County. Since I have a clearer understanding of system tasks, he decided, be proactive. Anyway, the White Feather Temple has been destroyed. For the Li family, the Dianxiang sect in Amir County can be wiped out easily. And the army, it should be pulled out to fight more. The last time the Zhujiao County city was leveled. After fighting with Dianxiangjiao, the loyalty of that group of soldiers has been, swish, rising. And he also found a very surprising problem. That is the soldier who is only added to another world by him. Loyalty will only increase, not decrease. As for the remaining soldiers who have not been added, their loyalty often goes up and down. Not stable. Yes. Li Deyin nodded slightly. Li Yu turned her eyes to her eldest son Li Daosu. How much is the consumption of officials, arresters, and city defense forces in various places? There are 9 county towns and 1 county town in Zhujiao County. The population exceeds 3.5 million. Not only does every city need officials to arrange affairs, it is also necessary to arrest bandits and criminals quickly. Similarly, the city defense army responsible for maintaining the order and security of the city gate and the order in the city is also essential. Everything requires spending. Of course, it is far from the high treatment of the army. But it's also a huge expense. However, the entire Zhujiao County was swept away. The distribution of the incense sect in Zhujiao County will be destroyed. The ordinary meat fields obtained are not too small, a total of 37. This time, they brought back 31 ordinary meat fields from Baiyu Temple. In addition to the original 38 ordinary meat fields. A total of 106 ordinary meat fields. That's a pretty staggering number. If it gets out, even some of the top forces in Yan Kingdom will covet it. After all, this is already equivalent to more than 150 million taels of silver. Don't look at this as nothing to the Li family. But this is his way of making money. So many people sent him. Among them is Ling Daozong, the number 1 rich man in the 6 kingdoms. But in fact, even for the imperial court, this is a huge sum of money. But if it does not damage the pattern growth of the meat field, that certainly wasn't enough either. The question is how much notch. The monthly salary of the county magistrate is 300 caddies of exotic animal meat, which will be reduced step by step for the lower officials. But all the officials in Zhujiao County add up to about 40,000 CBFC caddies. For fast arrest, it's about 10,000 caddies a month. For the city defense army, it's about 30,000 caddies a month. Li Daosu said in a deep voice. Although it is far less than the consumption of Li Jiazhan, but compared with the consumption of all counties in Yan State. In fact, the pay is much higher. This is what Li Yu requested. After all, they are not the court of Yan State. If you want people to do things seriously, high salaries are essential. 80,000 caddies a month, on average less than 3,000 caddies a day. Li Yu nodded. This consumption is nothing to their Li family. How effective is the elite training camp? He continued. He closed the camp, named Elite Training Camp. There are already 23 people from body refining 7th stage and above, 129 people from body refining 6th stage, and 210 people from body refining 5th stage. 92 people below body refining 4th stage, the rest are body refining 4th stage. Li Deyin spoke up. Not bad. Li Yu showed a satisfied smile. At this time, it has been more than a month since he came back from Baiyuguan. Count. Elite training camp from its establishment to the present. It's been almost 4 months. 10 times the speed of practice, that is equal to more than 3 years. It's not surprising that someone is promoted to the body refining 7th stage, even though the beast meat is enough. Certainly, those who can advance to body refining 7th stage. Talent should be pretty good. After all, there are more than 900 people, and there are always some good talents. In addition, Li Jiazhan's recruitment is limited to under the age of 25. It is the time when qi and blood are at their peak. Zemo concubine's room is also several months pregnant, right? He smiled and looked at his eldest son. This matter, it was his great concern. After all, this will be his first great-grandson. He desperately wanted to know. How will my own gold finger affect the newborn offspring? It's impossible. Just born, share those martial arts realms that can self-cultivate, right? For example, the Shaocheng realm of Baoshanyan is shared by family members today. There are also the previous 100 refining exhalation method, Xuantian 9 transformations method, etc. If so, that would be a real Nezha. Just born, has extraordinary strength. Almost 6 months. Lee Daosu smiled. He is also very happy. After all, he will soon be a grandfather. In ancient societies, no one is not happy to have a successor in the family. Zixing is also 18 years old. It's time for Zhang Luo to take a concubine for him. Daolong, you are Zixing's father, you have to start arranging this matter. Li Yu ordered. He was also in a trance. Unconsciously. It has been a year since I came to this world through time travel. If it weren't for World Channel, there would be countless sand sculpture netizens chatting every day. He probably will seldom think of things before time travel. After all, it's a year. He has completely integrated into this world. Okay. Li Daolong grinned and nodded in agreement. Dage is almost becoming a grandfather. My kid doesn't even have a woman yet. It's too outrageous. He has decided. I'll find someone to characterize later, a suitable girl. Anyway, it's just taking a concubine, not marrying a wife. It is enough to be virtuous, beautiful and generous, know how to advance and retreat, and know filial piety. Not demanding. And you two brothers, if there are suitable ones, you can also take a few concubines. It's a big deal to carry on the family and spread the branches and leaves for my Li family. My 2 daughters-in-law who are reasonable will understand after thinking about it. Li Yu said meaningfully. The 4th generation is about to be born. But if the 3rd generation can add a few more, he must be very happy. After all, every additional member of the family will be of great help to him. If it weren't for the scruples about his image in front of his children and grandchildren, he might have to do it himself, and he has enough food and clothing. Well, Li Daosu and Li Daolong were stunned and looked at each other speechlessly. Li Daoyan's mouth curled into a slight smile. Such a family atmosphere. She likes it very much. 40%. Chapter 120 upgraded. Blood City Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife. Second more. Ding. Your family's martial art, function Beibu, feels wrong. It has been a long time since I have experienced a violent storm. I want to make the storm more violent. The next day, Li Yu woke up, dressed and washed under the service of the maid Ah Ching. He just opened the pop-up information to check. Haven't you ever felt a storm? He looked at the groggy sky outside. It was evident that it was going to rain heavily. It's July. July has the most rain, and there will be no shortage of violent wind and rain. Wait until he finishes eating the breakfast carefully prepared by the Divine Palace layered exotic animal meat. Boom. Thunder and lightning. Dark clouds overwhelm the top. The storm comes when it is said. The crackling raindrops hit the blue tiles and red walls, and the whole world seemed to become hazy. On the pond ahead, splashing the water non-stop, several carp hid under the stone, shivering. The blossoming lotus flower seems to be destroyed by the storm at any time. Zemo, go and feel the storm. Li Yu looked at her eldest grandson who had just finished breakfast, and raised her head to signal. Anyway, function 100 steps, is just to feel the storm. Didn't you specify that he should feel it? Who in the family feels it? Isn't it all feelings? Ah, Li Zemo blinked, looking at his grandfather inexplicably. Let you go outside and feel the rage of heaven and earth, which is good for your cultivation. Li Yu's voice was flat. Oh, Li Zemo nodded, and walked out of the hall obediently. The wind and rain fell. His clothes were all wet in an instant. Go to the roof. After a while, Li Yu didn't respond to the function 100 steps, and said again. Li Zemo jumped up, cut directly on the roof, let the storm blow and close your eyes. Feel the violence of heaven and earth with your heart. After a while, he seemed to have really realized something. He actually reached out and took a large knife from the weapon rack in the yard. Right on the roof, in a violent storm, the Zanpakuto is sold even if the blood is removed from the practice. One knife, one style. They all look fierce and violent. And over time, it's getting more and more violent. As if in the fury of heaven and earth. Let his saber technique also be infected with this kind of rage that wants to destroy the world. Boom. Saber technique turned into an afterimage. Every time a knife is cut, it tears the rain curtain and the wind one. It was like a blood-colored lightning flashing non-stop on the roof. The next moment, Li Zi suddenly opened his eyes. The long knife in his hand was raised high. And there was also a trace of lightning in the sky that was attracted, and it fell straight down. When it landed on the long knife in Li Zemo's hand, the lightning flashed. Cut. Li Zemo let out a loud shout. The long knife in his hand suddenly slashed forward. Bang! The astonishing electric light forms a terrifying sword light rushing straight out of a distance of 5 or 6 feet. The house in front of him was instantly torn apart, and the rubble flew randomly. It even slashed on the ground, tearing out a scorched and terrifying knife mark. Ding! With the concerted efforts of Lee Zemo and Lee Zemo, your family's martial art, Blood City Secret Demon Zanpakutao, was ecstatic and comprehended the mystery of lightning, and it was upgraded to Blood City Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Sword, Heavenly Rank Wangpin. 1111. Li Yu stared blankly. He couldn't turn his mind around. Wally, just talking casually. Did the grandson take medicine today? Why are you so awesome? Did you really understand? And directly let the Blood City Secret Demon Zanpakuto upgraded. This is too strong. How did he never know that his eldest grandson still has this kind of talent? Blood Capital Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife. Heavenly Rank. He already knows it now. What is the grade above martial arts, such as the top grade of the Earth Rank, the top grade of Heavenly Rank, etc.? That is Wangpin. Wangpin martial arts, rare in the world. Even the original Blood Capital Mystic Demon Zanpakutao was only close to the ground-level King grade. But it has not yet reached the King rank. Wangpin martial arts. Basically, it can be compared with top-grade martial arts of a higher level. For example, Heavenly Rank Wangpin Wushui. It can be the same as the increased strength of Spirit Rank high-grade martial arts. Difficulty that can be practiced. But it is far less difficult than Spirit Rank Top Rank martial arts. Spirit Rank Top Rank martial arts. That was cultivated by the realm above the Divine Palace. It is extremely difficult to cultivate the Divine Palace realm. The martial art applicable to Divine Palace realm is Heavenly Rank martial art. Heavenly Rank martial arts, also known as Divine Palace martial arts. A martial art comparable to one realm higher, but far less difficult to cultivate. It's so precious to the extreme. Let alone it is the martial art of Heavenly Rank Wangpin. It is 10 times more precious than the top rank martial art of Spirit Rank. Boom. A lot of information flooded his mind. Blood Capital Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife. There are 9th stage realms. The first stage can increase strength by 20%. The second stage can increase strength by 40%. The third stage can increase strength by 60%. The fourth stage can improve strength by 80%. The 9th stage can increase the strength by 1.8 times. This, compared with the top rank martial arts of Spirit Rank, it is a bit stronger. After a long time, Li Yu just woke up. He stretched out his hand to form a palm knife. Immediately, there are dense red thunder and lightning breathing on it, crackling. It looked terribly terrifying. With his original Great Completion Realm Blood City Mystic Demon Zanpakuto. Upgraded to the Blood Capital Secret Demon 9th Stage Xiaodao Empress. It belongs to the 3rd stage realm. The power is terrifying. Baoshan Yinyi. All higher than 10%. And the Blood Capital Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife. There is another amazing place. That is, in the rainstorm weather, it can attract the thunder of 9 heavens and enhance its power. Also increases attack range, just like Lee Zemo just now. Take the 9 heavens thunder from the top, and drop it with one blow, it can sweep everything within 5 or 6 feet. The range of 5 or 6 feet. That's about 20 meters. How terrifying is this? Put it on the battlefield and sweep around. That would kill hundreds of people. And the Divine Palace Great Master. The true essence turned into a sword light can be up to 1 jong. Although it is also strong, it is possible to kill or injure more than a dozen people with a single strike. But how can it compare to the terrifying attack range of 5 or 6 feet? And this is also the relationship between Lee Zemo's 3rd stage of Blood Capital Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Sword. If it goes up further, not only the attack power will be greatly increased, but also the attack range will be increased. Too strong. Li Yu was overjoyed. He didn't expect that. How could there be such a surprise? Great-grandson. Blood Capital Mystic Demon Zanpakuto is also powerful. Ding. Your family's martial art, Function Beibu, felt the power of the storm and was intoxicated. It increased its proficiency by 50%, and its practice speed increased by 300 times. Asking for flowers. Immediately afterwards. Another message pops up. Li Yu felt it immediately. How well I have mastered the Function 100 steps. Promote directly from mastery to Xiaocheng. Ha ha ha. Double happiness. Li Yu's heart is full of joy. This kind of blink of an eye. The feeling of soaring strength is really cool. Function's 100 step promotion to Xiaocheng. His speed will increase by about 1.5 Faster. The strength is naturally much stronger. He looked at Li Zimo, who was still immersed in his cultivation. Did not bother. He leisurely returned to his yard. Look at the family interface. Family. Li family. Order. Samsung. Airlock. 135. Members. 8 people. Li Yu ancestor. Heavenly origin 8th stage, 66 years old. Eldest son. Li Daosu, 2nd generation, heavenly origin 3rd stage. 43 years old, 2nd son. Li Daolong, 2nd generation. Heavenly origin 3rd stage, 41 years old, eldest daughter. Li Daoyan, 2nd generation, heavenly origin 3rd stage, 38 years old, eldest grandson. Li Zimo 3rd generation, heavenly origin 3rd stage, 19 years old, Li Zixing 3rd generation, heavenly origin 3rd stage, 18 years old, Li Ziran 3rd generation, heavenly origin 3rd stage, 17 years old, Li Zihan 3rd generation, heavenly origin 3rd stage, 14 years old. 0. Fortune. 1,725 spirit coins, 106 common meat farms, 28 heavenly origin low-rank meat farms, 8 heavenly origin mid-rank meat farms, 3 heavenly origin high-rank meat farms, and 1 divine palace low-rank meat farm. Net income. 4,100 jin per day, ordinary animal meat, income 31,800 jin per day, expenditure 27,700 jin per day. 2,600 caddies per day, heavenly origin low-grade exotic meat, income 2,800 caddies per day, expenditure 200 caddies per day. 800 caddies per day, heavenly origin mid-rank exotic meat, income 800 caddies per day and no expenditure. 80 caddies per day, divine palace low-grade exotic animal meat, income 100 caddies per day, expenditure 20 caddies per day. Territory. Zhujiao County, 100%. Martial arts. Taizan's natural god badge, Baoshan seal, Shuidu secret demon 9th stage thunder knife, powerful demon fist, Kisha Yuanyang arrow method, function 100 steps. Hostel. Ling Dao sect. Task. Occupy a county for more than 3 months, occupied for 55 days. 28 heavenly origin low-rank meat fields, 8 heavenly origin mid-rank meat fields, 3 heavenly origin high-rank meat fields, and 1 divine palace low-rank meat field. Li Yu smiled. Bai Yuguan is indeed the strongest force in Tanzhou, standing at the pinnacle of Yangguo. This wealth is huge. There are more than the Jing'an Hu mansion. However, the cultivation base of the family members is increasing day by day, so the nutrition needed will naturally be more. Although there are spirit coins that can refine spirit power in large quantities. But body nutrition is also indispensable. However, 3 heavenly origin high-rank meat farms and 300 caddies of exotic animal meat per day are enough. After all, 100 caddies of heavenly origin high-rank alien animal meat is almost equal to 3,000 caddies of heavenly origin low-rank alien animal meat. As for Li Yu herself, eating 20 caddies of low-grade exotic animal meat from the divine palace every day is enough to maintain the body's needs. He doesn't need to practice. Reminder. Li Zimo's Taizan Heavenly Innate God Seal was promoted to the 4th floor, and the cultivation base was promoted to Heavenly Origin 4th stage. Suddenly, a message popped up. Heavenly Origin 4th stage. Li Yu is overjoyed. Finally, in the family, someone broke through and was promoted to Heavenly Origin 4th stage. It's just that he didn't expect it. Li Zimo will be the first to break through, not his daughter Li Daoyan as he thought. It seems the storm. Great help for grandson 4. Seems the storm. Great help for grandson 4. Seems the storm. Great help for grandson 4.